please.
Miss Kidd, you and Mr. Thorpe lived together for 9 years, according to your complaint, and you have a child together.
Yes, ma'am.
Well over a year ago, Mr. Thorpe, according to you, was involved in an accident. He was drunk, and he had a bad accident, and he totaled your car.
Yes, ma'am.
You want him to be responsible for the insurance deductible, which you were ultimately charged. Mr. Thorpe was in the hospital for a substantial period of time after the accident. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
In addition, since you separated shortly after the accident, which was, again, was well over a year ago, you say that he took a car collection, not a real car collection, a miniature car collection, that belonged to both of you, and you want half the value of that.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the case is about. Mr. Thorpe says that for a variety of reasons, you're even. So let's get the facts that we can agree on first. Mr. Thorpe, you were driving the plaintiff's car, you were drunk, you were in an accident, and there was an insurance deductible. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
And what was the deductible?
I believe $440.
Is that right?
No, ma'am, it's $455.
So why shouldn't you pay that?
Well, Your Honor, I have a outstanding cable bill here for $414.39 that I had left in her name after we had separated, and asked her to pay that when she had told me that it was not in her name and that it was not her problem.
When did you separate? What month?
I believe it was November.
And when was that bill?
It was for 4 months after I had moved out.
4 months after?
After I had moved out.
Is that right?
Yes.
Why didn't you pay that bill?
Ma'am, it was for a box that I turned in. I did not bring the paperwork with me. They said I did not turn it in. And I did turn it in. So, and I did pay my last month's bill there.
You have proof that you paid that bill?
Not with me, ma'am. I did not know he was going to counterclaim on this.
You didn't? Well, did he file a counterclaim?
No, ma'am.
How come you didn't file a counterclaim, Mr. Thorpe?
I did not have time, Your Honor.
Well, then that's too bad. Then I'm not going to hear that. Because if she didn't have notice of it, Mr. Thorpe, then what happens is she doesn't have the opportunity to bring her evidence.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, so fine. So $455 is what you owe so far for the insurance deductible. Now, she also says that you owe her additional money for this NASCAR collection. So I'd like you to tell me about that, Miss Kidd.
Well, we've acquired this NASCAR collection. What had happened is on his 30th birthday, I had planned a surprise party for him, and I had bought him one. And after that, that's when we started to collect them. I wasn't really into it at first, but with us being together, I got into it more and more. And whenever we went shopping, we'd pick cars that both of us would, whether it be at the local Walmart or at the race.
So when he left, he
stars.
took the collection.
Yes, ma'am.
You were together for 9 years. When the two of you separated, Miss Kidd, what else did he take with him?
Well, he took a pool table, a pickup truck that we had bought together, a fishing boat, a stereo receiver, DVD player, a theater system, like the surround sound system, tools, and miscellaneous videos and DVDs.
And what did he leave? Let me go through this, because you're going to probably say he didn't leave much. Did he leave the living room furniture?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he leave the bedroom furniture?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he leave your daughter's furniture?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he leave the kitchen furniture?
Yes.
Did he leave the washer dryer?
Yes, ma'am.
So he left a lot of stuff. He left more stuff than he took. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
He left, really, it sounds to me, like he left you in a situation where you would be comfortable with your child.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
You didn't expect him to walk out of a 9-year relationship with nothing.
No, ma'am, and I didn't. And I explained that to him. But
So?
the items I have, they're not like items that we had, they're not new. A lot of these things we bought, like the NASCAR collection, that didn't start within when we first started dating.
What difference does it make?
Well, I'm just saying.
The difference is,
right.
Miss Kidd, is that wherever Mr. Thorpe went, and I don't know where he went after he left, where did you go?
I'm living with my mother at the time, Your Honor.
Okay. But if he had to go and start to furnish an apartment, he would need a living room set, and a bedroom set, and a place for his daughter to come and spend time with him. And he'd need a kitchen table, and he'd need a washer-dryer, which means he'd have to go out and buy that stuff. What makes you think you're entitled to this NASCAR set?
Because when he moved out, he wasn't, he really wasn't keeping up on his child support.
That's a different story.
He's been behind on, I know it is, he's been behind on his child support. I like to keep extra money in the bank, so if something, I have Crohn's disease. And if I have to go to the hospital, I'm not there for overnight. I'm there for at least 3 to 5 days because they have to run tests on me. And so I like to try to have a little bit of spare money in the bank, so if I have to pay rent, I will have enough money there.
Is he currently paying child support?
Yes, ma'am. But he's $2,000 plus in the rears.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want a nice truck to drive too. I also have a truck payment, but I also pay rent for our daughter to live somewhere.
Good. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a parent.
And later today,
You know, the first was the next day. Had to move out.
Did she tell you that?
You know, she called me stupid and everything.
Just a second. Mr. Pulley.
He was on drugs. So,
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Lorinda Kidd says ex-boyfriend Robert Thorpe Jr. owes for an insurance deductible and for the value of a collection of NASCAR miniatures.
How much do you pay every month, sir?
$670 a month.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a construction.
Okay, so you fell a little behind, but he owes $2,000,
Well, Your Honor,
but he pays almost $700.
Correct, Your Honor, but also he went out and got a brand new truck, at least a brand new truck, and that was one of his complaints as to why he could not give me as much child support before he went to court, is because he had his truck payment, which I understand. I want a nice truck to drive too. I also have a truck payment, but I also pay rent for our daughter to live somewhere. I pay gas, I pay water.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're a parent. He owes you $455, and that's for the deductible that you had to pay when he was in an accident with your car. But as far as property is concerned, when people decide to get married so that courts have the opportunity of deciding what equitably belongs to each party, that's what we have courts for. We do not have courts for people who live together. They lived together for 9 years. You kept some stuff, he kept some stuff, and I'm not getting involved. Thank you very much. This case is over.
Always excuse. You may step out.
I'm glad that I walked away not losing anything, really.
I think I got cheated. I should have deserved half of that NASCAR collection because I paid for half of it.
I'd like to get along with her and see my child.
Well, he's welcome to see his daughter anytime. He just doesn't come around.
I'm just glad it's over and like to move on.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pulley versus Rayford. Step forward, please.
Security guard Dennis Pulley is suing his sister, bus driver Valerie Rayford, for the value of his personal property.
Mr. Pulley, the defendant is your sister, and it is your claim that your sister recklessly disposed of your personal property that was in your mother's apartment after your mother's death. Your sister says she got rid of your property, but she did her best to notify you where you could find it, and she was as careful as she could have been under the circumstances. Where were you living, sir, at the time of your mother's death?
I was living at my mother's place, my mother's apartment.
How long had you been living with your mother?
Maybe 2.5 years, close to 3 years, and I had went into a drug program. I was in there for approximately about 11 months, and then I graduated, and I was staying basically there back and forth with my mother's, but most of my stuff was at my mother's house.
At the time of your mother's death, were you still in the program?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a residential program?
Yes.
So there would be times when you would get out of the residential program and go and stay with your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And a lot of your personal property was at your mom's house?
Most of it was there. Yes, ma'am.
When did your mother pass away?
It was the end of January. She was buried January the 25th. She passed away 4 or 5 days before then.
Do you have the exact date, Miss Rayford, that your mother passed away?
she passed away on the 25th of January. She was buried on the 31st of January. Can I say something, Your Honor?
Not yet. How long had your mother lived in this apartment, Mr. Pulley?
Your Honor, I'm not sure. When I was dealing with my drug problem, my mom's asked me to come to California because she knew there's some drug rehabs, you know, that I can go to. So when I came to California, she had been living there. So
How long ago was that?
Maybe 2.5 years ago.
How long had your mother been living in this apartment, Miss Rayford?
She lived there for 5 years approximately.
She had a lease?
Yes, it was low income.
Okay. So, mother passed away on the 25th. She was buried on the 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
From the 25th to the 31st, sir, did you stay in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Rayford. Now tell me about your brother's property.
Okay, my nephew was staying on a lease with my mother at the apartment. And I phoned my brother's girlfriend because he You know, he was all around. I didn't know
When?
where he was.
When?
I phoned him on the 31st.
The day your mother was buried?
Yes, and I told him
He didn't
that,
come to the funeral?
Yes, he came to the funeral.
Why didn't you speak to him at the funeral?
Well, it was the funeral. We were all, you know, grieving over my mom. So.
Well, you went
But
to
I
the
told
funeral.
him
Did you go someplace after the funeral, after your mother was buried?
the repast was at my house.
Did he come?
Yes, he came to the repast.
So why didn't you discuss it with him then? What you were
I
gonna
did.
do?
I told him that he has to move out by the 1st because, you know, the 1st was the next day. He had to move out.
Did she tell you that?
No, she ain't tell me none of that.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
It's you know, I can't figure her out, man. You know, this is my sister and I love her. You know, it's like, you know, she called me stupid and everything.
Just a second, Mr. Pulley. So you say you told him at your mother's funeral
Yes,
that he had to be out by the next day, by the
Yeah.
1st.
yes. This is what the landlord had told me, that the property that she said wasn't anyone on the lease, and that my brother is not supposed to be there. And she
You're right,
want-
he had property there. What did
Yeah.
you do with his property?
His property is there. I have the property was there since the 16th. I mean, February the 16th. He had until the 16th to remove all of his belongings, and I did not remove it.
Just a second. February 16th?
February 16th. The landlord negotiated with me for him to get time for him to remove the property, but he was on drugs.
Had you changed the locks?
I didn't change the locks till he started selling everything out of my mother's house.
And when was that?
That was like maybe the 12th of February.
Was there any property in your mother's house that you began to dispose of, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
When I was there, I gave my other sister, she asked for the VCR. My brother asked for, he wanted a TV and some pictures and some other things. My daughter asked for some things.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Some other people asked for some things.
What
and
what
yes,
other
ma'am.
people?
My brother, my sister-in-law, my daughter, and one of the neighbors across the street.
What did you give- what did you give
my
to the neighbor?
My sister right there. I gave her some of my mom's clothes.
Mr. Pulley, were you put in charge of the disposition of your mother's property?
Well, no, ma'am, I wasn't. I don't believe she left anybody in charge of it.
I have
Okay.
power of attorney. I have proof.
You overstepped your bounds, Mr. Pulley, if you disposed of any of your mother's property. Pay rent on February 1st, Mr. Pulley?
Did I pay rent?
That's my question.
No, ma'am, I never paid. I never had to pay rent living with my mom.
Just a second. Well, your mom was dead, so she wasn't going to pay the rent, Mr. Pulley.
Okay, I understand.
Now, and you knew that your mother was buried on the 31st of January,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said that you were staying in the apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was supposed to pay the rent?
Well, I seen the landlord in the hallway, and I asked her, how long do I have before I have to be out of the apartment? She said till the middle of the month. That's what her exact words was, to the middle of the month.
Well, so you didn't remove your things.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Way before then, I left, and when I came back, the locks was
Where
changed
did
and
you
my
go?
stuff was gone.
What do you mean you left? Where did
I
you
left
go?
out for the day. I came back, and it was gone.
What day did you, Mr.
I
Pulley?
don't know exactly what day, but I have a paper to show. I went back into the program on the 14th. I have a paper showing the listing that I went back on there. It had to be the 13th that I had
That's
went
pretty
back.
much what your
And
sister
And the
says.
locks was changed already.
That's what pretty
and I
much
didn't
what
have
you-
any clothes.
That's
Yes,
what your
ma'am.
sister said. She said she changed the locks
Mm-hmm.
around the 14th, and you had until the 16th to move out. Mr. Pulley,
Mm-hmm.
the landlord was giving you a 2-week grace period.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you using drugs the first 2 weeks in February?
No, ma'am. I haven't used since I graduated.
Okay. So you tell me, what arrangements did you make to remove all your property?
I already had arrangements made. I was going back to the program. They was giving me a place back there because I worked security for the program.
So what arrangements did you make with the program?
I was going to have my stuff took in there and put in storage.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you do it before?
I didn't have, when I came back, my stuff, everything was gone. I couldn't even get in the
Talking about the first
house.
week in February, sir. While people were there taking stuff, while you were giving your daughter things. You were giving you gave your daughter something.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave cousins. You took care
No,
of
my
clothes.
brother, my sister
No,
right there.
I got it. I got
Uh-huh.
it. All right. What did you do with his things, Miss Rayford?
I didn't do anything with his things. My nephew was also on a lease, and his mom is here today. And What he did is set the clothes out. On the 12th, he set the clothes on.
So you didn't do anything? You didn't touch his property?
Exactly.
Did, Mr. Pulley, did your sister tell you that she didn't touch your property?
No, she said she set it out there. Actually, I heard on the phone, she was talking to my girlfriend. She said he was stupid and it wasn't nothing but junk anyway. And she set it out there.
That's a lie, Your Honor. It's fabricated.
Whatever.
It's lies.
Whatever. He feels he's hurt. But, Ms. Rayford, is what you're telling me you were not responsible for putting his things outside?
No, I wasn't, Your Honor.
And that was your nephew? What's your nephew's name?
Ramon.
Was he on the lease with your mother?
Yes, he was.
Had he been living with your mother?
No.
Why was he on the lease with her?
Well, it was a low income, and when he was a minor, he was on a lease with her when he was a minor, and I guess they never changed it.
Was he living with her?
No, he was not living with her.
Okay. Mr. Pulley, your stuff is gone. Ms. Rayford says that she did not put it out, that it was your nephew who put it out, your nephew who was on the lease with your mother. I can't find her responsible for that.
Can I say that? Excuse me, I haven't cut you
Sure.
off. My nephew ain't been to that house, and my nephew haven't lived there basically since he was a teenager. She is the one that got the lock changed, and she the one that, if she didn't personally pick the bags or pick the stuff up and set it out,
Your Honor.
she told him to put the stuff out.
Mr. Pulley.
Yes, ma'am.
When somebody dies, and your mother died, and I assume that you had she was some comfort to you. You had a drug problem for a long time. She was at least somebody who said, I'll help you,
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds to me as if she didn't give up on you. So you have a feeling of sadness. And I'm sure that your sister not only feels sad that your mother died, but I'm sure she's a little bit, I'm sure aside from loving you, she also feels disappointed that you were a source of sadness for your mother. There are lots of mixed emotions that go on in a family when somebody dies. But it sounds to me like you have a very nice family, and it's just clothes and things. So don't let it interfere with your family permanently, Mr. Pulley.
Your Honor, can I say this before I go?
Sure.
I just want to say she can fool you, but she can't fool God. She set the stuff out. She know what she did, and like I said...
Mr. Pulley, you have to also look to yourself for a certain amount of responsibility. You had a responsibility to get your stuff together and move it out. The landlord gave you an outside date, was being nice to you. So you have to accept a certain amount of responsibility yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't let it interfere with your family. Good luck.
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
You claim two things. First, that the defendant owes you for child care, for taking care of her daughter. And that was part of a business arrangement you had with her.
Yes, ma'am.
And second, you claim that after that daycare was terminated, that she began a course of conduct that was harassment.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says that she owes you nothing, that she has not harassed you, that every report that she made was accurate, and that she is counterclaiming, alleging that you have in fact harassed her through certain conduct and words that you uttered to her daughter. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you begin taking care of her daughter?
November 1st, 2000.
And what was the financial arrangement?
$4 an hour or $20 a day. Brittany was considered a drop-in.
A drop-in, what is
Yes.
that?
That means she wasn't a full-time child at the time.
And when did you terminate your daycare services?
I terminated her August 3rd, 2001.
Why?
She kept telling me she didn't have the money for me. Every time I called her 3 times and told her how much her payment was going to be.
How much did she owe you at that time?
$280, but she did pay on August 7th, $30. I had to beg for that $30.
What excuses would she make to you as to why she wasn't paying you?
Okay, on August 1st, when I first talked with her, she went frantic saying that she didn't have the money, that Social Security messed up her check, and that she called, and they said within 5 to 7 days that she would get her money. So August 7th, I called her again. She told me again, oh, Social Security said they put my check in someone else's account. And so I said, can you at least give me something towards your bill so I know that in faith you are going to pay me?
She never said that.
Shh.
I'm sorry.
And then...
How many days a week did her daughter come to you for daycare?
She would come off and on. In July, we had a lot of field trips that we were doing, and Miss Voss didn't want her daughter missing any of it. And plus, she had...
I'm going to get to you.
I'm sorry.
And plus, she had summer school and things like that.
Okay. Now, after August of 2001, can you describe to me what you term as harassment?
She's called the police on me.
How many times?
I have a report 3 times.
Your Honor?
I'm going to get to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tell me about the police reports.
Okay, the first time police was called on me was on October 24th. It was in regards to a smoke or a fog machine, and it's a fog machine. It makes smoke, and my husband would play with it, and the kids enjoyed seeing the smoke and whatever. All of a sudden, at I believe it was at 4:30, I see the police coming up, fire department and the policeman and so forth, and a parent walked up. The policeman comes out, he goes, well, we got a call that there's a fire in your house. I said, no, sir. I go, there's a smoke machine. And then Miss Waltz comes out, hands full like this, and she's laughing, and she goes, I thought your house was on fire. And I said, you know what, you need to mind your own business and get back into your home.
I did. I thought her house was on fire, ma'am.
What words don't you understand when I said I will get to you?
Okay.
Then the police officer went back to Miss Waltz's home. Next thing you know, the police officer comes back to my home and claims that Miss Waltz said that me and my husband were rolling in the dirt fighting and having a domestic dispute. I said, how can that be, Your Honor? I have 9 children in my daycare. I have a parent coming in.
What was the next call?
The next call was on the 15th. Police officer came up and said that he had gotten a call from Miss Waltz saying that I used profanity from a child that did not come to my daycare. This child was not in my daycare. This child was one of her friends, the one I wouldn't hire. And on that same day, Miss Waltz also called state licensing and told them I had used profanity in front of a child. On the first one that the state came to, they found it inconclusive. The second time they came, they found it unfounded. Last complaint was saying profanity in front of children. And at the time, there was no children in my daycare.
Now, since the defendant's daughter ceased coming to your daycare, other than the $30 that she gave you towards the $280 bill, has she given you any money?
No, ma'am. She did send me on October 2nd. I did receive a $10 money order, and along with the letter, I have the letter.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am. Right here, ma'am. I did receive this letter. I held on to it. I took a full copy of the money order, and I held it until see if Miss Waltz would keep to her word, which on December 15th she did not. I mailed the money order along with a letter stating that she needs to pay me in full for my services. I have the letters here, Your Honor, certified and so forth. Since Miss Waltz's phones had been disconnected, and she wasn't returning any letters I had sent to her, I seen her outside. All I did, Your Honor, on the day that she claimed I harassed her, that sent the police to me, I did ask her, Lisa, you have my money? No. Didn't think so. I walked back into my house. Next thing I know, police is knocking on my door because she claims I was harassing her. I gave her every opportunity. I even told her that she needs to pay me or I'll take her to small claims court. Or come talk to me. I'm not going to do nothing to her. She'd come talk, because in my letters, I asked her in my letters, please come either call me or come talk to me so we can make a payment arrangement.
Okay. Now I'll hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
At the time your daughter terminated daycare with the plaintiff, you had an outstanding bill of $280. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You gave her $30.
Yes, I did.
Leaving a balance of $250.
Yes, ma'am.
So, now you can explain to me why you believe that you are not responsible for this $250.
Okay, well, I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I was not getting my complete checks for Social Security. So I had a choice of getting my daughter her clothes and her things for school and giving her some money, or not getting my daughter the things she needed for school and giving her all the money. So I was backed into a corner. I didn't know what to do. And then she did also, too, when my daughter came home and had told me that she had called me and told me, my 10-year-old daughter, what she thought of me, and said that I was a slut, you know.
That's not true.
And said that her sister was lucky, which is my other daughter here. She got out when she did because she doesn't deserve a mother like me because I'm an unfit mother. I confronted her, Ms. Lohmeyer, with this, and she said she did say this over the phone.
When? Just a second.
In August.
When did you had that discussion with her in August?
No, ma'am.
Shh.
I terminated daycare in July, and I gave her 2-week notice. And I discussed it with Ms. Lohmeyer. Yes, ma'am, I did. And she said she did. And my daughter came home. She even told her grandmother this. And my mom went into total, like, she was shocked.
Explain why you don't owe her for
Because
the time
I feel
she
for the time-
babysat. I'm speaking.
I'm sorry.
Explain why you don't owe her for the time she took care of your daughter?
For the slander she did to me.
She didn't do anything to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You sent us something in September, well after you alleged this terrible thing that happened with your daughter. So at that point, hey, you acknowledged that you owed her the money.
I do owe her the money.
All right, make up a baloney story for me.
And later today,
Let me start off saying that I love my daughter. I'm proud of her, but I think she's going to keep it real with this because I have no idea what this is about.
He's lying.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daycare provider Deborah Lohmeyer says former client Lisa Voles owes for unpaid babysitting fees. Lisa says Deborah badmouthed her to her 10-year-old daughter.
Listen to me very carefully.
Yes.
You sent her money.
Yes.
You wrote her a letter. In the letter, you say, this is an attempt to pay a debt to you, and that was dated October 2nd.
Yes, ma'am.
Well after August, well after
Yes.
July. You sent us something in September, well after July and well
Yes.
after August. You say, I can't make any more of a payment than I'm paying you, but on the 10th of each month, I will attempt to make payments of $10. That was well after you alleged this terrible thing that happened with your daughter. Terrible thing that happened with your daughter.
May I
So
explain a little
at
further?
that point, hey, at that point, you acknowledged that you owed her the money.
Yes, ma'am.
So you owe her the money.
I do owe her the money.
You-
but I
All right.
You owe her.
Quiet.
After
Just said, at that point, I owe you the money. You do.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't make up a baloney story for me.
No, but I believe that after she stood on her porch day after day after day, yelling and screaming at
Not
me with
true.
kids in my front yard playing and cussing at me, that was the time I did call the police. And I did call the fire department because I thought her house was on fire. I apologized for... I wasn't being a smart aleck. I saw smoke coming out. You would think of fire. So I did call the police, and I wasn't being smirky about it. And they came up, and she says, no, it's my smoke machine, so I walked back in my house. Okay. That's all I did. And I called the police on her because of all the times that she was out there screaming. My 10-year-old heard it. My other daughter heard it. Her husband heard it. My neighbor across the street heard it. Her 5-year-old son heard it.
All because you owe her some money.
All just over money.
All
And
because you owe her some money, which you should have paid. Are you employed?
No, ma'am, I'm on disability.
What's the nature of your disability?
I'm a social anxiety disorder.
Fine. Then why did your daughter need daycare?
Because sometimes I couldn't help her with her homework, and Deborah did help her with her work and did do well and with her daycare.
Are you telling me that your daughter was there so that she could be educated and do homework?
No, I helped her. She did help me, yes.
And she did?
Yes, ma'am.
And you
I
didn't pay her?
gratefully- Yes, I did. Every month up until the month I could not, which was the last month she was there.
All right. Now I'm going to get to your counterclaim, and I will do that quickly. Let me hear about your counterclaim.
Again, it was about her calling me. She was flattered me to my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. I didn't think it was right for her to do so. She also would stand on her front porch, scream and yell at me. My daughter's ADHD and epileptic. When she was calling me those...
Miss Foltz.
Yes, ma'am.
What you're telling me is not actionable, nor
I'm
is
sorry?
the plaintiff's claim for harassment actionable.
I don't go out my front door. If I see her, I walk right back in my house. I don't
You should
want to go outside.
have paid her money, and then we wouldn't have had this trouble. That doesn't mean that you both acted appropriately as adults.
No, ma'am.
You probably did not. You probably said things to each other and did things to each other that were inappropriate. But it all stemmed from the fact that you had a debt that you did not pay. So your counterclaim is dismissed, and I'm entering a judgment in favor of the plaintiff for $250. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Okay, honey.
That's right. Miss Fox is nothing but a liar.
People like Deborah Lohmeyer do not deserve to have a daycare like that.
If she can rip a person off with whatever she has, she will.
My daughter can't even play in her own yard because she's afraid she'll come out and do something to her.
She cannot tell the truth. She does not know the truth.
For 7 years, she's hated me, and I try to make amends.
It was in her imagination.
It's just so wrong.
Just be honest.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Balkan versus Balkan. Step forward, please.
22-year-old student Shawana Balkan is suing her father, machine operator Bruce Balkan, for unpaid credit card charges. Bruce claims he has no idea what she's talking about.
Ms. Balkan, the defendant is your father, and it is your claim that your father used your credit card,
Yes.
and he used your credit card up to $5,000. You want him to pay off that credit card bill.
Yes, I do.
Your father says that he doesn't know where you got this figure of $5,000 from, that the only charge he put on your credit card was a wedding dress because he was getting married. You volunteered to buy the wedding dress, but then he paid you back for it. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
When did you go to live with your father?
After my 20th birthday in February of 2000.
And where had you been living?
In New York.
And where's your father live, in Savannah?
Yes.
Who were you living with in New York?
With my mother.
And tell me why you gave your father a credit card.
Well, after the wedding, he had fell behind on a couple of bills, and being that he was my father, I helped him.
How did you help him?
I let him use my credit card so he could pay some of the bills that he owed that he fell behind on after the wedding.
Show me.
Sure.
Did you give him the credit card?
Yes, I did. As you can see, that it's more than just bills that the card was used for.
Well, this says there's a balance of $1,500. Why are you suing him for $5,000?
Well, with the charges, over the limit fees, interest, it grew much more than $1,500. I was making all the payments on charges that I did not make.
But I see that there are some purchases that were made. Purchases, cash advances.
Yes, those was from my father.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Let me start off saying that I love my daughter, okay? I'm proud of her that, you know, she finished school out there in Queens, New York, where it's rough. That's why I thought it'd be the best idea for her to come out and stay with me. I thought she was gonna keep it real with this, but I thought she was gonna keep this real because I have no idea what this is about, okay? Now, first of all, I never had no credit card in my hand. I don't know if she's talking about that.
He's lying.
There's a charge here for a nail salon for $89.
That was made by his wife. And he did use my credit card, Your Honor. I'll be at work, he'll call me at my job and let me know that he needed to use it, and he'll go and use it. I don't understand why he's saying that he never had my card in his hand, because that's not true.
There's a charge here for City Hall deposit account. What is that?
You have to ask him.
What is that?
I have no idea. I mean, if you use a credit card, don't you have to sign something? I mean, that
Yeah,
should be
you should
able,
have the receipts.
Well, that should be self-explanatory then. Anything I have should have my name on it.
His wife signed my name, actually.
This is enough.
I didn't sign for anything.
Ms. Balkin, it is absolutely impossible for me to make a judgment based upon the evidence that you present to me, whether your father had your credit card or he didn't. Because when you get these things, it is possible to get the signed receipts from the credit card. Then you have somebody's signature. He says he didn't make any of these charges. You say he made these charges. The only way to figure that out is if you have the receipts.
I would be able to show you that, Your Honor, but all of those receipts are in his possession because I left Savannah and I didn't take any of those things with me. I just took the clothes that I had and left.
I don't have them. I have to be able to see them, Ms. Balkin. Do you understand?
I understand.
Fine.
I wouldn't come in front of you and lie about something like this. He really damaged me a whole lot behind this, and I'm in debt.
What made you wait to 2 years?
Your Honor, I tried to pay the bill myself.
Why?
Because I didn't want to take it this far to where I had to bring my father to court.
Just a second. Did you write him a letter? Did you write him an email? Did you say to him, what are you going to do about these bills
Yes, I
over
did.
the last? Do you have copies of those?
No, I didn't. It was verbal. I talked to him over the phone. I talked to him face to face. I told him that I need these bills to be paid. At the time, he said that he didn't have the money. And then it just came to the point where he said he's not paying them. And I told him I would take him to court. And he said, do what I have to do. That's why I'm here.
That sound familiar to you, sir?
No, we did have a conversation about her bills and stuff like that. And first of all, the thing with the wedding dress, I just found out that it's not on this credit card she's talking about. It's a whole nother different credit card.
It's not. He's right.
Okay,
It's
so
on...
the wedding dress thing now, that's why I was I couldn't understand what she was suing me about. Because the only thing I really remembered was the wedding dress that we had. And I really thought that should have been paid off already. Because while she was staying with me, I just asked her to help chip in for little bills. And then she was kind of upset about that. So I told her, well, look, instead of paying me the bills, just take the money you're supposed to pay me and put it towards your credit card.
Daddy, we did not come to that agreement until months and months and months after I tried to get you to pay that bill.
When did you take the credit card back from your father?
I never had it.
I'm
sorry.
When he told me he wasn't paying the bill anymore, I took it back.
Well, when was that?
This was, I say, about 3 or 4 months after I let him use it. I say he got married in July. I say by December, January. I gave him plenty of time to try to pay for it. He did not do that. I took it back and I left.
Just a second. It is absolutely impossible with the evidence that you bring to me, Ms. Balkin, to make a judgment whether your father used your credit card The only way to do that is to have signed receipts. You can get those from the credit card company. You have to write to them. Now, what do you want to do? You want to do that?
I guess I have to.
I guess you have to do that. So I'm going to dismiss your case without prejudice. You have leave to refile it when you get those receipts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Goodbye.
Seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mrs. Bennett, the defendant is your son,
Yes, ma'am.
who you claim owes you for some utility bills that were incurred when you lived in a house together with your son, his wife, and their children. And then in a duplex house, you lived in one floor and they lived in another, and the utilities in both places were in your name.
Yes.
And you claimed that there was an agreement that he'd pay those bills.
In his apartment only.
Okay. Well, first tell me about the house that you shared together. When did you move into that house?
July of 2001.
Why did you move in together?
Well, Bob was having financial problems, and he needed Karen.
Don't answer. I'm going to get to you. Promise you.
He
was having the financial problems?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And he needed Karen to go to work, but he also needed someone to watch the kids. So me moving in, helping with the rent and utilities, and watching the children would help them.
What's your first name?
Robert.
Robert. Don't speak until it's your turn. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why you moved in?
Right.
Were they already living in this house?
No, we got it together. They had moved out of their apartment in with me. I had a 2-bedroom house. Of course, it was just too small for all of us.
Okay. Listen to me carefully, sir. I'm going to ask you a question. So far, is it correct that you and your wife and your children, at some point prior to July of 2001, moved in, even for a short time, with your mother in her house that had 2 bedrooms?
Yeah, but the arrangement was we were going to look for... Yes.
Requires a simple yes or a no.
Yes.
And how long did you live with your mother in her house?
For like a month, just until we found a large place. That's
Good.
it.
And then...
That was the arrangement.
Does your wife listen to you? Do you make the rules in your house?
Yes.
Not here. Not here. Okay, so then you moved into a house together, and what was the financial arrangement?
I had the upstairs bedroom. I would give him $400 a month for rent, utilities, plus I would chip in anywhere from $100 to $150 for food every month.
And what was the entire rent on the house?
$1,200, I think it was.
Okay, and how long did you live there?
1 year.
Okay. Robert, listen
Yes.
to me carefully. Did you live in this house for approximately 1 year, from August of 2001 until August of 2002?
Yes.
Why were the utilities put in your name?
Because Bob owed back bills and couldn't have them on in his name.
And what was the arrangement with regard to the utility bills?
That he would pay him, you know, I'd give him $400 a month toward rent and utilities.
And he would pay the bills?
Right.
Okay. How much was left owing on those bills when you and your son and his family moved out of that house?
On the electric, the transfer amount was $684.04. And it was $315.05 on the gas.
So those amounts were transferred to the new account that was opened in the duplex.
Yes.
For some strange reason, you continue to have the accounts in your name?
Yes.
For both apartments?
Yes.
And what amounts were built up on his apartment only while you were there?
Well, I got a final bill for him in the gas for $1,290.98, and the electric, $884.18, and the cable, $836.64.
And those are just his bills, not yours?
No.
Okay. Good. Now it's your turn.
Okay. When we moved into the house originally, now she may have given me $400 a month or around $400 a month, but during the month, she'd be like, Bobby got $20, I want to go to bingo. You know, can you buy me cigarettes, buy me some more pop, buy me this, buy me that, keep a gas in my car. So by the end of the month, I mean, it's like I got nothing from her.
So let me understand this. In the first house that you lived together,
Yeah.
your arrangement with your mother is as she indicated. She would give you... She may let you cut her off. I don't. The arrangement was as indicated, which was your mother gave you $400, and the first part of your defense is that during the course of the year, she would say to you, Bobby, you got $20 for gas, I need cigarettes, can you buy them for me? So it's your position that she ate into that $400 a month. So that's the first part of it. Okay? Now I'm ready to hear the rest.
Well, anyway, everything got tense in the house. Living together doesn't work. you know, I'm the man of my house, and then, you know, I don't need a mommy in the house, you know. So anyway, we found a place that we could rent both the upper and lower apartments, so we rented them. She transferred the balances from that house to my bills in the lower apartment.
Okay. And you thought that was wrong?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, even though, you know, the cigarettes and the gum and the candy and the gas, you still didn't think it was wrong because it was money that you owed her?
No, to be honest, I would just assume leave it alone. You can't tell her what to, you know, you can't.
I don't want to tell you. We're in a court now.
You can't prove her wrong, you know what I mean? I mean, it's either her way or no way or an argument, and I just assume leave it alone.
So you did. Just a second. So you did, and you accepted the transfer to your account in the other apartment.
Yes.
Keep going.
Okay. Bills start coming. She come downstairs. Your gas is $200. I need that, you know. She would never show me any bills or anything. She would just tell me amounts.
The bills went to her?
The bills went to the house. She would get them out of the mailbox. If I would dare open a piece of mail that was in her name, I mean, she would have a coronary.
He's lying.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Because how did he know that the bills were transferred to the lower unit?
How do I know?
Unless he saw them.
Well, I saw them, but if I dare open one, it would be nothing but a
You mean you were able to do a Karnak with the bill? You were able to go like this? This is a bill, and this is the amount, and this was the transfer amount. So you had to have seen it.
No.
Right?
No.
You just told me.
I saw the bill. I just didn't see the amount. I knew the bill was there. This was started this stuff. I opened one, and I saw the balances on there. And the balances were astronomical, and I'm like, Ma, what's happened to this money? I've been giving you money every month, you know, and you're not paying the bills.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So how much did you give her every month?
I don't have records. I mean, I just gave her what she asked for. You know? It's my mother. It's my mother. She lives upstairs.
Stop being a big baby, Bob.
And later today,
she herself is not even on the lease.
Yeah.
Then I come to find out we are not even supposed to be there.
Okay, fine. That's not why you moved out. Left on your own.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Janet Bennett says her son Bob Robinson owes for unpaid utility bills. Bob says his mother is always asking for money.
Let me understand. First part of defense was that you gave her cigarette money that ate into her $400 a month rent.
That wasn't really part of the defense.
Shh, sir, then what'd you tell me about it for? I have other things to do today.
I'm just telling what kind of person she is.
Listen to me. She's not my mother, and I'm not looking for any friends. So that I don't have to know what kind of a person she is. I want to know what your defense is to this. So that you want me not to think about that defense. So whatever the transferred amounts were, that you accept, the amounts that were transferred to your lower unit.
Yeah, but I paid the balances.
Okay. So now you're telling me that you paid that balance of $900.
Not in full, no. She made a payment.
How much did you pay?
She made a payment agreement with the gas company. So we moved to a cheaper rent apartment. I had extra money. So I said, make a payment arrangement with the gas company, and I would pay these balances.
So how much did you give her every month?
I don't have records. I mean, I just gave her what she asked for. You know? It's my mother. It's my mother. She lives upstairs.
Bob,
I need $200 for the gas. All right, here.
What kind of business are you in, Bob?
I'm in the cab business.
You're in a taxi cab business. So you know how much you take in, you know how much you take out, you know how much you pay for gas, you know all about those things.
Sure.
If you know that you have a problem with the gas company.
I didn't at then. I didn't.
Well, you did. You had a problem with all your utilities. You don't build up utility bill of $1,000 for various utilities because you paid them.
That's easy up north. Especially like this. I mean, even this year. I mean, I'm living in a small place and my bills are $400 a month.
How does one build up an $800 cable bill?
Well, that's because she didn't take the boxes back. The converter boxes.
Just a minute.
I told her to take them back.
You.
I told her to take them back. She didn't take them back.
Why didn't you take them back?
Because it wasn't in my name. I asked her to do it.
Just a minute. In whose house were they?
Our house at the time.
Why didn't you or your wife take them back?
Because I worked. She doesn't drive.
What did you do with them?
We lived in the country, and
Shh. What happened to them?
I don't know. They may have got left. I don't know.
Stop being a big baby. You owe your mother the money. Come on.
I don't.
Stop
owe
being
my
a
mother.
big.
No, I don't owe my mother nothing.
Stop being a big baby,
I don't
Bob.
owe my mother the money. I give her money all the time, okay?
I don't,
Bob,
listen
can I
to
have
me.
$20 to go to bingo? Can I do? I mean, she still doesn't know.
I'm not talking.
She still doesn't know.
I'm not talking to you.
You know,
sir.
I feel like I have another.
I'm
I feel like I have another child.
Shh, listen to me.
I feel like I have another child here. I really do. I love my mother to death, but she's a pain in the ass.
Then don't live with her.
I'm not. She's moving. That's great.
Shh. I want you to try to listen. Try to receive rather than give out. I mean, I know it's hard.
God.
When you pull in your parent to help out, there's always a problem. When you're a grown-up and you have your own family and you want to make all of your own decisions, then you live separate and apart from your mother. But if you're a grown-up and you have your family and you have to ask for whatever assistance it is, even for a short time, from your mother, and then you say, well, you may be my mother, but you're not my mother who's going to give me advice. You're not my mother who's going to tell me what to do. She wouldn't have to tell you what to do if you didn't ask her for a favor. You asked her for a favor. Whatever it was, your circumstances were such that you couldn't cut it alone. So you moved in with her, even for a short period of time. And that creates friction. But how many grandmothers do your children have?
One.
You are being so totally unfair to her and your children.
Why is that?
Because children are entitled to have the widest possible community of love and affection that they can. And if, because of this argument that you're having with your mom, your children are affected by it, that's a terrible thing to do to your kids. Now, if you think, Bob, that I believe that it's the right thing for a mother to sue her child, I don't.
No.
I think that, Mrs. Bennett, that it's a dumb thing to do, because I think that what you have to do is you have to take a hard swallow and say, I'm not going to put myself in that situation again because I can't afford it, but I'm not going to sue my son because I just refuse to do that. So I think that that's a mistake. I believe you that he owes you the money for the utility bills. I think that he probably hit some hard times, and he has got kids, and he's got his own expenses, and he had gas, and he has food, and he probably has insurance, and he has medical bills, and he has all kinds of other stuff, so that you were covering this, and it was on the back burner. And I believe that everything else that he's telling me are excuses, but I think it's a mistake to sue your child. That being said, I think that if you use as retaliation that you're going to cut her off from her grandchildren, that's a mistake, because it's a mistake for your children.
I just think, I mean, she has the audacity to try and sue me for money that was paid to her.
I don't believe it was paid to her, Bob.
It was.
I don't believe it was paid to her out of gas money and cigarette money. That
But
being
it's ridiculous.
said, that
It's
being said,
ridiculous.
listen to me. That
This is
being
ridiculous.
said, you asked
Okay?
for her help.
Because she has copies
Bob,
of bills that she didn't pay?
receive. I just said to you, it's a mistake to embroil your children in adult problems. In any event, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm not proud of what I had to do, but I had to do it.
Well, you've been conned by the biggest con artist I know.
I love my son. I love my grandkids, and he won't let me see them.
What's she going to sue me for next, you know?
He blows up and says, I'm a man, you know, I don't need a mommy.
I mean, I don't care now. She's moving. Goodbye.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cotton Price versus Grum Boys. Step forward, please.
Medical assistant Victoria Cotton and tax assistant Dane Price are suing their former roommate, bartender Angela Grumboyce, for overcharging them for rent and emotional distress.
Who is speaking for the two of you?
That would be myself, Your Honor.
And you are?
Victoria Cotton.
All right, Miss Cotton, you and Mr. Price rented a room, answered an ad and rented a room from the defendant. And it is your claim that you were overcharged in rent and some other nonsense about her not telling you about her past, which you think she should have told you before you rented the room. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me take care of that part first.
Okay.
You're not entitled to know the social criminal background of anybody who is your landlord. You're renting a room, she doesn't have to tell you whether she suffers from any illness whatsoever. Nor does she have to give you information regarding if she had any prior activities with law enforcement or social services. You're not entitled to that. Do you understand?
I understand.
Good. Now let's talk about the rent. When did you answer this ad, and when did you move in?
I answered the ad on April the 23rd. I moved into her home on April the 30th.
Who moved in?
I did, Your Honor.
Just you?
Yes.
So what's he doing here?
I've been living there since January.
With her?
No.
So what are you doing there as plaintiff?
I was being overcharged in the beginning, but I didn't even notice it because I was at work all the time. She brought it to my attention.
So the two of you moved in separately?
That's correct.
And you're both suing her for overcharging you rent?
That's correct.
Tell me what kind of an apartment this was.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It was to include laundry and kitchen privileges.
Uh-huh.
When I met with Ms. Grumboyce, I stated to her that I had 2 children. One would be with me constantly. The other one was going to be with me on a part-time basis.
And when did you move in?
January 1st.
Okay. And what was the rent that you agreed on?
$475.
And what rent were you paying?
I was paying $500, Your Honor.
Now, why do you think she was overcharging you in rent?
When I first interviewed with her, she had stated to myself and to Mr. Price that we were all going to be paying equal shares of rent and utilities. Shortly after I had moved in, I had noticed some behavior and things that caused me to investigate further. I went to her manager's office at the apartment complex and I inquired as to what the rent was. She told me that the rent was $1,200 a month. Well, with my $500, Mr. Price's $475, I calculated that she was paying $200 to $225. I also know that previous tenants before me paid $550, which means that she paid even less.
And how many months did you live there?
I lived there for 2.
And how many months did you live there, sir?
6.
Okay. So let me tell you a little about what the law is. This is not a rent-controlled situation. This is not a situation where the government does oversight when someone rents rooms in their apartment or even rents rooms in their house. Let's say you're renting an apartment in a big apartment building, and you want to negotiate the rent with the landlord who wants to charge you $500 a month. And the landlord says to you, listen, I have to charge you $500 a month rent because it costs me $400 a month in order to maintain each unit. So in order for me to make any profit, I have to charge you $500. And you agree to pay $500. Later, you find out that it only costs the landlord $300 a month to maintain each unit. You think that you can go back to the landlord and say, I want a reduction in my rent. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. If it's true that she said that to you, that you were going to be sharing the rent equally, that's what they call in the trade puffing. That's like when you go to buy a car and the salesman said, listen, the car costs us $26,000. I'm giving it to you for $50 over that price. And you say, okay. And then you find out that instead of making $50 on the car sale, he made $550 on the car sale. You think he's going to give you back your money? She was cutting her rent. There's nothing wrong with that.
Your Honor, she herself is not even on the lease. She's lived there for 10.5 years.
Yeah.
Then I come to find out we are not even supposed to be there. Her contract specifically states that she is not to be subleasing, although her management company claims that they know that she has roommates.
Okay, fine. That's not why you moved out. You weren't evicted, were you?
No.
Left on your own. She's allowed to do what she's doing. There's no oversight. So you don't have a lawsuit. Do you understand that? But that's the law. Do you understand that that's the law? Whether you agree with it or not,
I understand.
that's what the law is. So you're not living there anymore. Go, be happy, have a nice life. Forget it. Goodbye. You were lovely. You presented a very good case.
Yeah, right.
Miss Kirtley, the defendant is your former husband, and according to what I've read, I believe that the two of you were divorced in 1991. Is that right?
Yes.
And you have a 15-year-old son. Ms. Kirtley, your lawsuit is about lawyers' fees.
Yes.
You believe that your former husband should pay for your legal fees when there was some support dispute between the two of you. You also want certain personal property that was your son's that was at the defendant's home because your son is now living with you.
Yes.
Mr. Mosher says he paid for his lawyer, you paid for yours, and whatever property is at his house, he purchased, and he will keep in his house for visits, for if his son ever comes back to stay there. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So I need a sort of a time frame. In 1991, your son was quite young. Who did he live with?
He lived with me.
Until when?
Until December of 1998.
What happened in 1998?
In 1998, my son's been having some difficulties as he's grown up. And in December of 1998...
You mean behavior problems?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. December 1998, we checked into some residential treatment centers, and our insurance would not pay for those. So at that time, we decided with Mr. Mosher and his wife that my son would go up there, up to Maryland to live with him.
And where were you living?
I live in Virginia.
Okay.
During this time, my son was admitted into residential treatment center.
Where was the treatment program?
In Maryland.
How far from his father?
Approximately 15 minutes.
How often did he go to his father's?
To his father's house. Very rarely did he go to his father's house.
Okay. Now, what was this lawsuit about?
The lawsuit, Mr. Mosier, he asked for back child support.
When did he ask for back child support?
In November of 2001. So he asked for back child support when my son was in residential treatment, which I had told him when he gets out full time that I will pay him my $100 a month that we agreed to.
Okay, was there a court order for $100 a month?
Yes, sir.
So there's a court order for $100 a month that you pay him $100 a month child support?
Yes.
Was that order ever terminated when your son went into residential treatment?
No, ma'am. We had a verbal agreement.
The order was not terminated?
No, ma'am.
Tell me about this verbal agreement that said that you didn't have to pay child support anymore.
At the treatment center when my son went in, myself, and my husband and Mr. Mosier stood out in the parking lot, and we decided that since he was in residential treatment and that neither one of us really had custody because he was a ward to the state, that the support would stop.
Is that right, sir?
Not in exactly them words.
Was it close?
It was similar, but not exact. Mrs. Kirtley is very persistent on everything that she does. So I've learned to not fight with her on anything that she says. So,
well, tell me about the conversation, Mr. Mosier.
She said that she was not going to pay during the time that he was in residential. I was definitely not in agreement to that, but there's nothing I can do if she stops paying it anyway.
Well, what did she say? What did you say?
She said that she wasn't going to pay it. And I said, well, whatever. I mean, if she misinterpreted that as me saying, well, okay, well, you can do what you want to, that's certainly not the case.
So tell me about this support proceeding that you started, sir. Why did you start it?
My son was in residential. He was in a program next to my home. It was like maybe 10 minutes away. It was only about 8 miles, 10 miles. He was actually going to be transitioned home. And,
when? Starting when?
Starting, I believe it was in September is when they contacted me of 2001 and said that he was going to start transitioning home and that it would take several months for him to transition. It's a slow process that they send you back into your home.
Okay.
But at that point, he was starting to come to my home 2 and 3 times a week and then spending the night and then going back. And then we did alternating weekends between his mother and I.
Okay.
But certainly at that time, that's when I contacted the Department of Social Services Child Enforcement Division for the child support. And they told me that I needed to, at that point, since he was in residential, it was a case to where it was a little bit iffy, so that I had to have an attorney go through the courts for them to make a ruling on her to continue to pay the child support. At that time, I asked Mrs. Kirtley if she would start paying child support again, because certainly he was spending more time in my home. And I needed more money to support. And she said, no, I'm not going to pay you child support until he is totally out of there. I already told you that.
Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am. I told him that...
Is that what happened? So he said to you, a child is spending more time with me now. Could you please start paying the child support again? You said no.
Yes.
And so he took you to court?
Yes.
Well, then you have a problem, Ms. Kirtley, because you have an order of support that had never been formally modified. $100 a month?
Yes, ma'am.
Which is less than $20 a week, which isn't a lot of support. But even if there was a period of time when he claimed he forgave the child support when the child wasn't coming home, once he says to you, I want you to begin to pay the child support again, you say no. He's got an absolute right to go to court. Why should he pay your attorney?
Well, my son was ward to the state at this time. Neither one, myself nor Mr. Mosier, had custody of my son.
When a child is a ward of the state, that means that the public is paying for your child's support.
Yes, ma'am.
That means that both of you should have been contributing to the residential treatment center. That's what we do in New York State. We sue both parents for the support of a child who is in residential treatment, because as between you and the public, you're supposed to pay. Neither one of you is supposed to get off scot-free while the rest of us pay for your child. We have our own children to pay for. You pay for yours.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And later today...
Words got said, and she had ended up pushing me, and when I fell back, I hit my finger on it, and it broke my finger.
What'd you get into an argument about?
And I don't remember exactly because I was drinking.
So you don't remember what you were arguing about?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Kirtley says ex-husband Thomas Mosier owes for attorney fees as a result of their child support case. Thomas says he paid for his attorney and she should pay for hers.
In any event, Ms. Kirtley, he has an absolute right to sue you for this back support. You had an issue. The issue was a legitimate issue. If you chose to hire an attorney, then you hire an attorney. He had an attorney. I assume you paid for your own attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
You pay for your attorney. That's number one. Finished. Next. Next is property. What property do you claim that he has that belongs to your son?
He has a snowboard.
A snowboard?
These were all given as gifts. He has I believe it's a 19-inch TV that was given to him last Christmas. A pair of rollerblades that I paid half on. A CD Walkman with earphones and CD that was given to him as a gift. But that's basically what's at the house.
Okay, so those things. Do you have those things?
Yes, Your Honor, not all of them.
What is it that you have?
I have the snowboard.
Was that a gift?
Yes, it was.
To whom?
It was a gift to Justin from us. And
Fine, then he has to get it back.
Right, that's fine. I don't have a dispute.
Next.
The TV is a 13-inch TV, not a 19-inch TV.
Was that a gift?
And it was a gift, and he can have it.
Fine. What's next?
My point is, she never asked for any of this till now.
Fine.
But I don't have a problem with that. Right, Your Honor, may I ask something of
Yes.
you? Since she never asked me for any of this previous to this, is there any way that you can order? I don't have a problem with her coming and getting them.
Right.
But why should I have to drive down there and drop them
No,
off?
you shouldn't have to.
Right.
Do you have a house that you can pack them up and put them on the porch or something?
Well, actually, I can contact her. She can contact me. I'll get along with her fine. As long as she meets me at a mutual point right off the Beltway where she can pick him up, that's fine.
5 days from today.
That's fine.
What time? 12 noon?
Absolutely.
Satisfactory?
Yes.
Fine, very good. Do you visit with your son? Does he visit with you?
No, he chooses not to. I've tried to contact him, but he refuses my calls.
Okay, well, he'll come around.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I need some help with my son.
I tried my best to do what I can for my son.
My son is very aggressive.
He certainly doesn't want me in his life right now.
He needs his father. He is a 15-year-old boy.
He's denied my phone calls.
I'm not sure what else that I can do right at this point.
Maybe someday he'll give me a call.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Jeffrey versus Swinney. Step forward.
26-year-old accounting clerk Angel Jeffrey is suing her former roommate, 27-year-old customer service rep Debbie Swinney, for unpaid rent and for the return of her belongings. Debbie is countersuing for medical bills as the result of Angel breaking her finger.
Miss Jeffrey, I've read your complaint very carefully, and it is your allegation that the defendant, who was a former friend of yours, owes you for 9 months' rent in an apartment that you moved into together, and she decided to leave after 3 months. You also claim that she took some property when she moved out. Miss Swinney says that she couldn't live with you because things got to be a little hairy, and that you were responsible for her breaking her little finger after an argument. She wants you to pay her medical bills, which amount to some $400. She also says that there was never an intention on the part of both of you that she was going to live there permanently. That's why the lease to the apartment was in your name. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Miss Jeffrey, how long did you know her before you decided to move in together?
Almost 16 years.
Oh, that's a long time. Where were you living prior to you moving in together?
I lived with my mother. She lived with her mom.
Now, what was your arrangement when you found this apartment?
We had discussed getting an apartment together because neither one of us could live with our parents anymore. We couldn't afford a 2-bedroom, so we decided to get a 1-bedroom. We went and looked at an apartment and spoke with the apartment manager, and because Debbie had been evicted before and I didn't have enough money to make the 3 times the amount of the rent, she suggested that she put me on because I had good rental history and used Debbie's income to qualify for the apartment.
Is that what you did?
Yes, we did.
Is that right?
I don't think my income was on, I don't think any of my information was even on the lease.
On the lease application we're
Right.
talking about.
Well, on the agreement, the total.
I'm not talking about the agreement, on the application.
The lease, the typed up lease at the apartment thing. I don't think my...
Pay careful attention to what I'm saying. You keep saying lease and I keep saying application.
Well, I didn't fill out an application.
When you filled out the application, how much money did you indicate that you earned?
I earned about $800 a month.
How much was the rent on the apartment?
$475.
And how much did you put down on the application for the lease that you earned?
It was about $1,800 combined.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we moved into the apartment, and about 2.5 months later, she told me that she was looking for another apartment.
Did she say why?
No, she didn't tell me why.
Had you been getting along?
As far as I know, I didn't think there was any problems.
Now, this is a 1-bedroom apartment. Where did you sleep?
I had my bed in the bedroom. Debbie didn't have a bed. We borrowed a bed from my witness, and we used it in the living room as a couch, and that's where Debbie slept until she could get another bed to put in the bedroom.
Was that what you were going to do?
Another bed wouldn't fit in the bedroom, but I just stayed in the living room, and I was going to stay in the living room if I had stayed in the apartment. So
Did you pay the same rent?
Yes, we did.
half the rent, yes, ma'am.
Did she pay the first month's rent that you were there?
Yes, she did.
Second month?
Yes, she did.
Third month?
We actually lived there 2.5 months. We paid a half a month when we moved in. She did pay that. She paid August and September, and that was it.
Are you still living there?
No, I just moved out. I had to break the lease.
How much did it cost you to break the lease?
$878.
Okay. $878 is not $2,400.
Correct. And when I had originally filed the suit, I was planning on staying in the apartment. However, with my income, I couldn't afford it.
Okay, so you had to pay $878 to get out of the lease.
Correct.
All right. So at this point, you want to modify your claim for half of that, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what about the property that she took?
When she moved out, she had some of my clothing and some pictures that we had taken on our vacation, and I asked her to return them to me, and she gave me dates and times that she was going to come, and she never showed up.
Where's her stuff?
I did. I have it. I still have it, and she can have it back. I don't.
Well, why didn't you give it back to her?
It's just because I was working overtime and didn't have the time to meet her nowhere.
Why did you take it from the apartment to begin with?
The clothes that I had was a pair of wind pants and 2 shirts, and it was in my dirty laundry. And it was at my mom's house whenever I had moved out, because that's where I did my laundry at. And then the pictures I had in my car. So, and the mailbox key I had on me.
So you're going to return all those things to her?
I will.
5 days. I'll prepare an order.
Okay.
Where are you living now, by the way?
I got my own apartment.
How much are you paying in rent?
$550 a month.
How come you left the apartment? Just curious.
Well, after we went to California and we got into an argument and my finger got broke, I didn't feel, that she was really my friend. She never once apologized, and I just didn't feel comfortable.
Well, that's your counterclaim. Why don't you tell me about it?
Well, first of all, we went to California, and I think mainly the only reason why I went is so she didn't have to ride in the plane by herself and drive. So I went, and after the wedding, we had went to a club.
What wedding?
It was Mary's wedding. That's why we went. And
is that a mutual friend of yours?
Well, yeah, she's Angel's friend.
Okay, go ahead.
We went to the club and went out, and we were drinking, so we were intoxicated or whatever. And
both of you?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Both of us.
No, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Well, we were both drinking. And afterwards, we had gotten into an argument, and we were going to leave the club. She wanted to leave.
What would you get into an argument about?
It was over dancing. I don't remember exactly because I was drinking.
So you don't remember what you were arguing about?
Well, it was over dancing, but I don't remember exactly what, words were said and stuff.
Go ahead.
So Angel wanted to leave, and after we went outside the club, words got said, and she had ended up pushing me. And when I fell back, I hit my finger. They had some concrete things out there. I hit my finger on it, and it broke my finger. So, and then she never once apologized. The whole way back on the plane, after we were back, she never said she was sorry.
Okay, and you had some medical bills. And what were your medical bills?
Well, I have insurance, so the insurance paid most of it, but I still have my portion of the emergency room, and then when I got back, I had to see an orthopedic surgeon. My co-payments were $15. I went 3 times.
So how much were your out-of-pocket expenses?
For the emergency room, for all bills together, was $285.17.
You want to tell me about this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
With her finger?
We were at the club, like she said, and we were sitting outside talking, and Debbie wanted to go dance, and she wanted me to go with her, and I was talking with some other people, and I told her, go on, and I'll be out there in a minute, and she got mad, said she didn't want to go alone, and I told her she wasn't alone. There was other people out there, and
other people out
on the dance floor, and she had said, I want you to come out there with me because you're going to leave me here. And I said, what makes you think I'm going to leave you here? We came from Texas to California. I wouldn't leave you. And so then she started getting mouthy and cussing at me, and that's when I said, let's go, because I didn't want to make a big scene. We got outside the club, and she was up in my face and cussing at me, and I asked her 3 times to please back away from me. She didn't. I pushed her.
And she fell?
She didn't fall, no.
What happened?
I guess when she stumbled back to catch her fall, she threw her hands up in the air. I don't know if she hit her finger on a trash can or anything like that. All I know is later on the night she was complaining her finger hurt. So the next day we took her to the emergency room.
You think that's when she hurt her finger?
Yes.
You feel any responsibility with regard to that?
No, I don't.
You put your hands on her?
Yes, but she provoked it by screaming and yelling and cussing at me.
Sticks and stones break your bones. Names will never hurt me. Very unfortunate. She didn't mean to hurt you, right? But she's responsible because she put her hands on you. You're not allowed to put your hands on somebody else. period. Discussion. Your out-of-pocket medical expenses are $285. You probably did open up your mouth, and you probably got a little out of control. That doesn't give her the right to put her hands on you. So she's going to be responsible for your out-of-pocket medical bills, which are $285. Now, you owed her $439 for half of the expense that she incurred when she had to break the lease because you left. And I believe that there was an arrangement between the two of you that you were going to spend 12 months in this apartment. I also think that you don't have to stay in the apartment with somebody who didn't do the right thing with regard to your broken pinky. So I have to what?
I also have utility bills and stuff that she never paid.
I have deducted $285 from the $439, and that leaves $154 if that's what you're entitled to. With regard to the property is to be returned within 5 days, the property that you took by accident. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Have a seat.
Mr. Burton, how long did you and Mr. York live together as roommates?
Approximately 4 months.
Did you move in with him? Did he move in with you? Or did you move in together?
I moved in with him.
Had you known him before?
No, ma'am, I did not.
You answered an ad?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get along okay at the beginning?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to what I read, the defendant's mother showed up for a visit. You had some sort of an altercation with her. Mr. York ejected you from the house, told you to leave. You did. And you claimed that you left some property there, a laptop computer and a camera, and you want him to reimburse you for that or to give you the property that you left behind. Mr. York says that you and your father, as well as Mr. York and some other friends, helped you load up your dad's truck, and you took the camera as well as the computer. The only thing that you left behind was some furniture, which ultimately you took. Is that right, sir?
Not exactly. He did leave his stereo equipment behind also, and receivers.
Did he ever pick that up?
Yeah.
When?
The next evening on the 28th, I believe.
Okay. So when did your mom come to visit Mr. York?
Thanksgiving Eve, 2 days before that, so it was the 26th.
And what kind of an argument did you get into with his mother?
It started out as I was being judged by her, judgmental words and so forth.
Like what?
Like, oh, you're just a bum, or, you know, lazy, whatnot. So that's what began the altercation, and it just escalated from there to quite an immense proportion.
Was any drinking involved?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I was drinking. That was part of the, I was just an old drinker, or just an old drunk, or whatnot, is what she wanted to tell me that I was after knowing
but you
me
had
for
been
15
drinking.
Minutes. Yes, yes.
Drinking, was
Yes,
that a
ma'am.
pattern, Mr. Burton?
It was a regular, yes, ma'am, it was an irregular occurrence.
Did you work?
I did until I got laid off.
What kind of work had you done?
I was worked at Telespectrum and got laid off with about 40 other people.
Your
Customer
drinking have
service.
anything to do with it?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
He did get sent home one time from drinking and then going to work, and they smelled it on his breath.
Don't recall
How
that.
long did you work for this company?
3 months, and it was right at the 90-day period.
Before that, where did you work?
Before that, I worked at, actually just moved to Arizona from Alabama, and I worked at, you know, a gas station or whatnot. And
Okay. Now, what was the most expensive item that you had in your home?
probably my stereo receiver.
And what's the second most expensive piece of equipment you had?
That would have been my digital camera.
How much was the camera?
And the accessories contained in the case
Mm-hmm.
would be $2,492.82.
And what's the next most valuable piece of equipment that you had?
Actually, that would be my computer.
And how much did you pay for that?
$3,376. I was actually incorrect in the order, I'm sorry.
And the stereo?
And the stereo would be $3,600.
Okay. So there was a big altercation around Thanksgiving, and he told you to leave. What did you do when he told you to leave?
Pretty much called my father, and
And how far away did your father live?
he was about 40 miles away, probably.
Okay, so not very far. Is that right, sir? You went to pick up your son?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened when your father got there?
My father got there. I proceeded to go out the back door because things were so intensely ambitious there between Kevin's mother and I and stuff. I just sat out back.
Okay.
And essentially my father began loading some of my stuff that was packed up in the garage into the trailer that he brought.
Well, what was in your room?
In my room was my camera. It was in the closet, the case, just my bed and clothes.
What about your clothes? Did he take your clothes?
No. That was pretty much left. He just, my father just had got the boxes and so forth that were stored in the garage as, you know, just temporary storage.
Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't take any clothes, any underwear, underpants, toiletries, medicines, nothing? No pictures? Didn't take any of that stuff?
No, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes.
You seem to indicate that you don't have his camera, that the camera was taken. When was the camera taken?
I'm not positive. He had a lot of stuff in my house, a lot of stuff.
The day that his father came, did he leave his room intact?
His room was always a mess. It was never
No, was it
organized.
intact? Did he go into that room to take any property and
He was mostly in
put
the
it
den collecting his laptop, his video camera, and inside of the living room, the great room area, where he had his Bose equipment, and it was all packed up and boxed. And
You mean he packed it up while his father was on his way?
On his way. And it was his choice to leave. I did not force him out. I did give him an eviction notice. He kept on talking to me. And
I'm just curious about what happened to his camera and computer.
I do not have it. It's not at my house. He showed up the Monday after that weekend with 2 cops and a ride-along that came along. He looked in the fridge. He looked in my bathroom. He found a 40-ounce in the fridge that was cracked open and 10 wire hangers out of the laundry room.
Could you step up, sir? I have a few questions for you. You're Mr. Burton.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems to me from what I've read and from what he tells me that the 3 most valuable pieces of property that he had was stereo, camera, and a computer. Now, common sense would indicate that when you're moving out of a place, as long as they're portable, which these things are, then you take the most valuable things first. Doesn't that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you explain to me why that didn't happen?
Well, I was more concerned for my son's well-being than I was for his personal stuff that was in
But
there.
you took a lot of property.
We took the stuff that was out of the garage, yes, ma'am.
Right, but nobody prevented you from going inside, sir, to take the property out of his room, his clothes and his underwear. Anybody prevent you from doing that?
No one prevented us from doing that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're going to be dead or you're going to kill somebody.
I don't drink and drive anymore.
You're still drinking, sir, because you were drinking Thanksgiving of 2002.
Yes, ma'am, I was.
You're going to hurt somebody, or you're going to hurt yourself. Your father's not going to be happy. He's going to have to come and identify you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jeremy Burton says ex-roommate Kevin York owes for the return of personal property. Kevin says Jeremy is making up a story.
Now, most people who are logical put the stuff that they don't use, that they don't need, in boxes, in storage, in a basement or a garage. Isn't that what most people do? And the things that they use every day, the things that they value the most, they keep closest to them. So what I don't understand, sir, is why you and your son would go and take the property out of a garage that he doesn't use and leave $10,000 worth of equipment in the house when you weren't prevented from removing it. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true.
Well, ma'am, I had one trailer, and we wanted to load the heavy stuff out of the garage first and get the last stuff later, and I had a bad knee at the time. I didn't want to load the other stuff on
The camera?
first. Ma'am?
You had a bad knee, you didn't want to load the camera, but heavy boxes that you wanted to load?
The camera was actually in my bedroom. You know, as far as I did forget, but you know, the stereo is 61 pounds by itself, just the one piece.
So what? I could lift up 61 pounds.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm an old lady.
Yes, ma'am.
And your computer, your laptop, that's not heavy at all. I could walk around holding a laptop like this.
Yes, ma'am.
So explain that to me, Mr. Burton.
Pretty much, you know, we just, there was a house full. Kevin's friend was there, Jesse, his girlfriend.
Weren't they helping you?
Well, yes, but...
They were helping you load your stuff onto the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
So you weren't even moving the 61 pounds worth of stereo equipment yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
After you moved out, were there any other lawsuits filed between the two of you for anything else? Rent, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Nothing.
There is a restraining order, though, that was never been served. His father was unreliable and said he didn't even know where his son lived at.
Well, I don't understand. Who filed the restraining order?
I did against him.
For what?
Just harassing phone calls, many harassing phone calls. I have a police report on that also.
What kind of harassing phone calls?
Calls, hangs-ups, silent in the background. I actually traced it and had Quest trace it and wrote a police report on it. He called me on my work number on the night of 12/11. He called me and said, "Hey, Kevin, just wants you to know I'm still in town and thinking about you. Hope you're sleeping well at night," and hung up the phone. Took me a couple of seconds to realize who it was, and then that's when I called and updated the police report, but...
Can I see the police report, please?
Certainly. Yeah, I should have
Mr.
it ready
Burton,
here.
does your son have a drinking problem?
Yes, ma'am.
He's a pretty young man to have a drinking problem.
Yes, sir, ma'am, he is.
What kind of help is he getting?
I've had him through a couple of programs, and I've encouraged him to continue on with another one.
Have you encouraged him successfully?
No.
You drive a car?
Yes, ma'am.
Ever been arrested for DUI?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
How many times?
3 times.
You sound, other than this, you sound like a smart young man.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But you're going to be dead or you're going to kill somebody.
No, ma'am.
You will.
I don't continue that. I don't drink and drive, ma'am, anymore. 3rd time's the charm, right?
When was the last time you were arrested for DUI?
Over a year ago.
But you're still drinking, sir, because you were drinking Thanksgiving of 2002.
Yes, ma'am, I was. Just don't get in the car anymore. Stay at home.
So far.
Thanksgiving, he was out many times to go get more liquor or whatnot up the street at Circle K.
How did he get there?
In his car. It's about 2.5 miles away up the street.
You're going to hurt somebody, or you're going to hurt yourself. Father's not going to be happy. He's going to have to come and identify you. Do you have other children, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the only one that has a drinking problem?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of programs have you been in?
Programs have I been in? I've been to the AA.
You still go?
No, ma'am, no.
You go anywhere?
No, not currently.
How old are you?
26, Your Honor.
Life is very short, Mr. Burton. It can either be a chore or it can be a joy. And you're a reasonably intelligent person, and if you choose to ruin your life, that's really a very, very sad thing. Alcohol can ruin your life. You can spend the next 20 years in a fog.
Your Honor, may I add something?
Yeah.
The second time we went down to pick up his material, the stuff that was left in his computer and whatever else was in his bedroom, Mr. York had moved those things from inside the house to the garage. And when I got over there that night to pick those things up, Jeremy had asked me specifically to ask where the computer was at. I asked Mr. York where that was, and he said it's right over here in the middle of the pile. I asked him to show me where it was, and he went over there and he could not find it, and he said he didn't know where it was.
Does that sound
I had
right?
never located the laptop. There was me, Jesse, even Alana, our less than 2-year-old niece, was actually carrying stuff out to the garage. So, I mean, we just wanted him out of the house and in the garage. The next morning on the 20th.
Well,
on
the
28th,
question is, sir, we're talking about the computer, only the computer. Mr. Burton says that you initially said to him, it's right here,
No,
and you couldn't
no,
find
it's
it.
not true.
No?
He said that.
Now, is it possible that somebody else, Mr. York, not you, of the friends that you had, took the computer?
They wouldn't do that. They were in the house the whole time with us.
That day, the next day? Is that possible?
The next day, they left. Actually, they spent the night on the next evening, but no, it's not possible at all. They wouldn't do that.
Also, Your Honor, I would like to mention when my father and I came, finally when, my belongings were piled up in quite a pile in his garage.
Very nicely.
He did take the liberty of just removing all the rest of my belongings from the bedroom, which, did have the camera and the case.
Well, I can't attribute to him the fact that the computer and the camera are gone. There were a lot of people involved in loading this trailer. I mean, it's one of the problems of not being sober all the time.
Your Honor, we did inspect the trailer, both Jeremy and I, several times, and there's nothing on there. There never was.
What do you think happened to the camera and the computer?
Ma'am, I don't know. It was in his personal possession.
You think he stole it?
I don't know, ma'am. It was in his house.
I don't know either. No, we moved the stuff out of the house.
Into the garage.
garage.
Mm-hmm.
He says that the majority of the stuff was gone.
His bedroom was loaded full of stuff. His bed, his dressers, clothing in the...
Was any property taken out of the bedroom that first night when he left?
No, it was all placed in the garage.
By whom?
By me and Jesse and Autumn and...
After he left?
After he left, yes.
So somebody from your house moved everything that was in his room out in the garage?
Yes.
Is the garage secured?
Yes, it's locked with the garage door opener.
Your Honor, I think, I'm sorry, can I?
Yeah.
I think, that would be something that police, or something could oversee.
What's interesting is the defendant says that your camera and the computer were in your room. Is that right?
The laptop was actually inside of the den. He packed it up the night he left.
He did?
Thanksgiving Eve, yes.
You sure about that?
Yes, and the same night of Thanksgiving Eve, his father drove his Pontiac Grand Am home, and I get a phone call from a gentleman on his cell phone saying, how do I return this? I found it. I said, I reported it to the police. So I call his father and saying, Jeremy has lost his cell phone. Do you know where he's at? Yes, he jumped out of the vehicle after he got off the freeway. About half an hour later, I get a call from him on a payphone. I need a pickup. And I asked him where he was and who he was, and Jeremy, I'm at a Circle K. Sorry, Jeremy, you're gone.
Were you driving that night, sir?
No, ma'am, I was riding.
I was driving him home, ma'am.
About 15 minutes later, I get a call from a Circle K attendant asking to speak to Kevin York. There's a Jeremy Burton. I told her to call the authorities and not to associate with him. And the same night that all this happened, he actually locked me and my mother out in the back patio for about 15 or 20 minutes while we were on the phone calling the cops.
I'm more concerned, sir, about what happened to the camera and the laptop.
Well, this was an everyday thing. This happened all the time. I get loud music fines from my HOA, my homeowners association. One with a fine. Everything's paid up to date, but...
No, listen to me. He was a bad tenant, sir. He has a drinking problem. I'm concerned about the camera and the laptop. Because if you and your friends touched his property on Thanksgiving and moved it into the garage, which is now what you say you did, is that right?
Yes.
And he has paid up his rent until December. You have no right to touch his things and move them to the garage. Do you understand? And if you did touch his camera and his computer, you or your friends, anyone acting at your direction or with your consent, and if his things are missing, you're responsible. Do you understand? You're responsible. Drunk as a skunk as he might have been.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, if his rent is paid, you have no right to go into his room, pack up his stuff, do anything with his things, and move them out. You have no right to touch his things until December 1st. At that point, then he's no longer a tenant and his rent isn't paid. Then you have no obligation with regard to his things other than to exercise some care. Put them in the garage is a very nice thing. But you put them in the garage that night, according to you. Is that right?
And the big stuff later on, we moved that the next morning.
Sorry, sir. He doesn't have his camera and he doesn't have his laptop. And you don't know where they are. You're responsible. You have bills for those things, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Let me see them.
Yeah, sit down. Yeah, go ahead, have a seat. So all the bills for the stuff?
Yes, sir. There's various accessories.
Well, just the basic on the computer and the cameras is well over the jurisdictional limit of this court. You're suing the defendant for $5,000. That's what you're entitled to. Sorry, Mr. York. That's all. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Once you exercise control, whatever happens to it is your responsibility. He was a tenant in your home until the 1st of December. If you moved his things out of his room into the garage, you had an absolute obligation to secure them. That's all. Listen to me. Don't be a jerk. If you need help, get it. That's all.
Thank you.
What is our excuse? You may step seats, please.
Ms. Campbell, the defendant is your brother-in-law. You were married to the defendant's brother for approximately 4 months. Is that right?
5 months.
5 months. And you married him while he was hospitalized.
No.
Where did you marry him?
We married at the VA chapel in San Francisco. He was not hospitalized at the time, but we wanted the nurses to be able to come even if they were on shift.
All right. He was sick.
Yes.
And subsequently, he passed away 5 months later. It is your claim that the defendant, your late husband's brother, owes you for a plane ticket that you put on your credit card that would allow him to come and see his brother before he died. And 2, you say that he went into the apartment, yours and his brother's apartment, and took certain property after your husband died that you want back. And Mr. Campbell says that he was following his brother's instructions. Where did you meet your husband?
I met my husband about 15 years previously when we were both working at the same cab company. We had not dated because each time one of us was free, the other was dating someone else.
When did you start dating?
We started dating around February of 2000. We started going out to dinners the night before his chemotherapy.
When did you marry him?
Married him August 29th of 2000.
Had you lived with him prior to August 29th of 2000?
Yes. Well, yes.
You shared a home with him?
Yes.
That's my question. I want you to make sure, because that's a tenuous yes, Miss Campbell.
Yes.
Did you maintain your own apartment?
Yes, I did.
After you married on August 29th of 2000, did you and your husband go to a home that evening, either your home or his home?
We went to our home, which had been his home, his apartment.
And you still maintained your own apartment?
Yes, given his prognosis, the cost of getting a new apartment would have been more than our two apartments combined.
You maintained your own apartment?
Yes.
Now, how long was your husband hospitalized before he died?
A little over a month. We went up to the VA hospital in Seattle for a stem cell transplant. It would have been a month and 2 weeks.
Now, after he died, what property do you claim the defendant took from your husband's apartment?
Basically, a lot of stereo equipment and household goods, as well as wedding presents. I have the list right here, if I may.
I'd like to take a look at it. Okay. Photo albums. Are these photo albums of you and your husband?
No, there's family photo albums, and I had absolutely no intention of keeping them. I just wanted to look at them and have copies made of any photos that I wanted to keep. I had absolutely no intention of keeping any
family
sort of
photo albums?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me about the ticket, the plane ticket.
I have here the itinerary and the charge on the credit card for the ticket.
How did the ticket come about?
When the doctors told me that John's immediate prognosis was very poor, I called up both Fred and Lila, his sister, and asked them if they wanted to come to Seattle, say goodbye. And so Lila's husband made the reservations over the internet. I asked Fred if he had a credit card to put this on, and he didn't. And so I said, well, here, I'll just put it on our Discover card, and you can pay me back. We can settle up later.
Fine. All right, Mr. Campbell, now I'll hear from you.
My brother and I have been together 47 years, and we've always taken care of one another. When he became ill the first time in '98, this is his second stem cell bone marrow transplant he has needed. During that time, I spent most every day with him.
Okay. You're a good brother.
Yeah.
What gives you the right to go into his home and take this property?
He gave me the right.
Well, tell me about that.
I was in charge of all his belongings. In the event that he didn't make it, didn't survive.
Yeah, he had a will?
He didn't have a will, unfortunately.
Uh-huh. Well, then I'm sure you were told, Mr. Campbell, that you had no right to go in there and take his property.
I don't understand. Who would have told me that?
Well, if you spoke to a lawyer would tell you that. You have other siblings?
Yes.
What did you do with the property that you took?
Some of it I gave away. Some of it I still have. I didn't sell anything.
What did you give away?
VCR, television set.
Why?
Because it's what my brother wanted.
Did you give any of the property to your siblings?
No. My siblings was, well, my son here, he was entitled to...
I'm not talking about your son. Your son isn't a sibling.
I'm sorry.
Your siblings, brothers and sisters.
Oh, no.
Why not?
They didn't ask. As I found out later, my sister wished to have some photos of my brother. And I have no problem with giving her any photos.
Let's get to the airline ticket.
Okay.
Talk to me about the airline ticket.
Yeah, Miss Hoffman, she called me up and told me that my brother was ill and I should come up there and see him before something, bad happened.
Mrs. Campbell.
I know who he's talking about. Go ahead.
And I didn't have a credit card. I have a joint account with my brother, his checking account.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to put it on a credit card, so that was fine with me. And I went up there.
Ms. Campbell, did you inherit or get any money after your husband died?
There was money in the checking account, which Fred and I put into a separate account so that it would not be frozen with probate. Once I arrived in San Francisco and went to the apartment and found that he had broken in, as soon as the banks opened, I removed that money from the joint account and put it in a separate account. Now, my husband had expenses, about $4,000 worth of, it was $6,700 in the account. He had $4,500 of credit card bills, a little over $1,000 in back taxes. Rent was due, and so this money all went towards his expenses. I'd like to add that I had no problem originally with Fred having whatever he wanted of John's things. It didn't matter, and I knew that Fred would get far more enjoyment out of the stereo equipment than I would, and I was perfectly happy with all that. However, when he broke into my home, all bets were off.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There are some compromising photos. I'd like to have him return them so that I can burn them. He pawed through every single...
He had no right to do that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tara Campbell says after her husband passed away, his brother, Fred Campbell, broke into her home and stole property.
Fred.
I think I kept about 3 cartons full of John's things, plus record albums. Fred left me with 9 linear feet of record albums and no turntable to play them on. Other than that, everything went to the Salvation Army. And what the Salvation Army wouldn't take went out on the curb, and various neighbors took it. What I'd like to see come out of this is I'd like to see Fred temporarily send the photo albums to Lila, who he trusts. I would look at the photos. I would have copies made of the ones that I wanted, and then they could send it back to Fred. Also, there are some compromising photos of an ex-girlfriend of John's. See, when he came into my home, he pawed through every single
He had
drawer.
no right to do that.
And he took some compromising photos that, if it were me, I certainly wouldn't want floating around. I'd like to have him return them so that I can burn them, so that I can destroy them. I'd like reimbursal of the plane ticket and the return of my wedding presents, compensation for what's not returnable, and reimbursement for court expenses.
He doesn't know which presents are your wedding presents. Do you?
Yes, I do.
Which ones? What do you?
A pair of crystal candle holders that were given...
Do you have those?
No, ma'am.
Where are they?
I don't have a clue.
What else?
A pair of little papier-mâché Japanese wish dolls, also another nurse gave them to us.
Do you have those?
I don't have those, no.
Oh, well, you probably just threw them in a box.
Those have emotional significance to me.
Okay, he says he doesn't have them.
I'd like to take issue with the fact that she keeps saying I broke into the apartment. When I
Listen, let me explain something to you, Mr. Campbell. When someone dies without a will, their next heir is not one of their siblings if they have a wife. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
She is responsible, and she is entitled to go through her husband's things, whether the marriage was 4 months or 4 years or 40 years. And you went in there and helped yourself to whatever you wanted. You didn't share it with your siblings. You said, I was together with my brother for 47 years. Well, you weren't together with him for 47 years because you had to fly out to see him before he died, so you weren't there every day. Now, you may not like the fact that she was married to him for a short period of time, and in the short period of time, she shouldn't be entitled to anything. That may be in your head. However, that's not the law. The law is you went into her home after your brother died and took property that did not belong to you. So, say nothing else. So, the photo albums will be sent to the plaintiff within 5 days of today's date. Do you understand?
Understood.
I don't believe, madam, that all of this property adds up to what you're suing for.
I do have a couple of receipts for the some of the stereo equipment. One of the problems was...
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
And what do the receipts tell me?
The receipts are for about $3,800 worth of stereo equipment. They were the only ones that I could reconstruct.
Let me see.
When John and I got married, I organized all his things, including his the manuals for all his stereo equipment, and I put the receipts with him.
Wait.
And John took those manuals when he took the other things.
Listen to me. This stereo equipment is 12 years old.
Well, it's
12 years old. That's
it's
the
certainly
thing.
depreciated.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Okay.
And frankly, Fred was going to have it anyhow.
Okay. Photo albums, you will mail back to her, sir. Is that clear?
That's very clear.
Very good. As far as these off-color photographs, do you have them?
No.
He's not going to tell me if he has them or not, ma'am. Do you understand
Unfortunately,
that?
yes.
Do you understand
Yes,
that?
I do.
Okay. And I doubt very much whether you're going to get back anything else from him. You understand
yes.
that, too? But he's going to pay you $2,500.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you understand? You had no right to go in and help yourself. That's like being a scavenger, which is what you were. That's being a scavenger. Going in there and taking stuff without saying, listen, let's sit down like human beings. There are certain things that I want that are sentimental value of my brother's that I would like. There are certain things that I know he wanted me to have. Would you mind if I took them? But to go in there on your own and help yourself is nothing more than a scavenger. And that's wrong. That's all.
Your Honor.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Audience are excused. You may step out.
Plaintiff took the opportunity once I went to Seattle to change the locks in my brother's apartment.
Actually, we had had a security issue about a month previous, and that's when I had the locks changed.
She had no right to do that.
The next day, my husband had an episode and went into a coma. So the last thing on my mind was sending Fred a set of keys.
It just seems to me that she knew what she was going to do ahead of time.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Batt versus Ferguson. Step forward, please.
Sheet metal worker Stephen Batt is suing his former friend, 24-year-old landscaper Jennifer Ferguson. Stephen claims, due to her negligence, his property was stolen from a storage unit.
Mr. Batt, the defendant had a boyfriend who was in jail. This boyfriend who was in jail had a storage unit. You were moving from one place to another. The defendant was a friend of yours. You knew that she had this storage unit because she was paying the boyfriend's bills while he was in jail. So far, is that right?
Yes.
Somewhat. Close. In any event, she let you move all your stuff into the storage unit. You weren't paying anything for it, right?
Correct. I did offer.
But you weren't paying anything
Exactly.
for it. You moved your life's property, all your belongings, your memorabilia, your pictures, everything went into the storage. And then at some point you found out that she let the storage go, and you're suing her for the value of all the property because evidently they just cut the lock and got rid of all the stuff in the storage unit, right?
Yes.
When did you put your stuff in her storage unit?
November 28th, 29th. It was 2 days before I had to move out. The house closed.
November 28th of '01. Is
Yes.
that right?
Yeah.
And from November 28th of '01 until what month was your property in the storage unit?
It should have been there up until today.
Okay, well, it's not there today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
True.
In the month of December, did you go to the storage unit?
No, I didn't.
January?
No.
February?
Yes.
All right. So February of '02, you went to the storage unit.
Yes.
And what did you go there for?
I went there to receive one box of personal stuff that had paperwork inside of the box that I needed.
Who did you go there with?
I went with my friend Dan. The storage unit had his stuff in there also, and we met the defendant.
She had the key?
Yes, she was the only one with the key.
When did you call the defendant to tell her that you wanted to get your stuff out of storage?
Actually, the night that we went to go in there to get my box, she had stated that she quit paying the storage payment and we needed to get our things completely out of there or switch it over into one of our names.
Oh, good. So what did you do?
I told her, okay. We did not have a truck that night to get all my stuff out. She told me to get a hold of her in a couple days and that we would get this resolved. I tried contacting her a couple days later, and she never returned my phone calls. I tried emailing her.
How about going to the storage unit place and telling them you wanted to put it in your name?
They wouldn't let me do that. They had to have the person there in order to do that.
No. Did you go there?
No.
Go there and say to them, look, I have my property in this storage. I don't think that they're going to be paying for the storage unit anymore. I'm going to pay for it, until we can resolve this. You didn't say that?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Basically, I was going on what she had said, that we were going to get together and do this.
Well, so she didn't. She had other things to do. So you take care of your own property. If you got, according to you, $5,000 worth of property in the storage unit.
I couldn't even get in the gate. I did not have a gate code or anything to get in there.
They have a business office.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever call the business office?
Yes, I did at one point when she was not returning my phone calls.
Yes.
I did call. They told me that they had to have the person basically go over and we could switch it in to my name or Dan's name.
Yes.
She, again, would not return my phone calls or anything else.
Mr. Batt, you go down to the storage unit place, the same place that has an office that you called, and you say to them, this is the situation. I have stuff in there. I am going to pay for this storage unit. They will accept your money. Pay for it in cash. They will accept your money. And I'm going to pay for the storage unit if it has fallen into delinquency until I can resolve this matter. That's what you do if your stuff is there. She had no obligation to make sure that your stuff was safe. And she told you in mid-February when your stuff was there to get it out, right?
Correct.
So, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Somebody closed the unit. They stopped paying for it. Your stuff's gone. When did you finally find out that your stuff was gone?
Day before yesterday, I went to the storage unit place. I asked him to look up Jennifer Fergus's name, and he had told me at that time that in the previous month that there was 2 lockers that were not paid for and that were put up for auction and sold.
So you went there in February, and according to what you told me, which is hearsay, but it's sort of interesting, in April, it was sold. So you could have had at least from February to go in there and pay for it, because the reason that it was put up for auction is because nobody was paying for it, right?
Correct.
So why didn't you pay for it? You didn't pay for it in November, December, and January or February. 4 months, 3.5 months, you didn't pay for the storage unit anyway. So pay for it for a month. And then you're ensured that your stuff is safe. You don't allege that she took your property and sold it, right? They sold it.
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Batt, I suggest you start saving your memorabilia again, because you're not going to get $5,000 from Miss Ferguson, who didn't even have to say a word. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Miss Warren, the defendant was an employee of your company.
That's
according
correct.
to what I read. And it's a small company that it's owned by you and your husband?
Yes.
According to your complaint, you made a loan to the defendant in the amount of $2,000. The purpose of the loan was so that she could leave an abusive relationship with her husband. In addition, according to what I've read, she took an additional $600 from the company. She did not leave her husband. They're going to have another child. In addition to that, she was terminated from your company, according to you, for cause, and you want your money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Tackers indicates that she was fired. She was not fired for cause. She was fired because you were annoyed that she went back to her husband. She doesn't make clear to me in her answer about this $2,000 loan, but she has a counterclaim for $2,000 for wrongful termination. She says that because of your actions, she's now left without insurance, she's pregnant, and there was no basis to fire her. So that's what this lawsuit is about. Ms. Warren, when did Ms. Tacker come to work for you, and what kind of employee was she? What does she do for your company?
Oh, she came to work for us approximately 2 years ago, and she came as a full-time support person for our office.
What kind of company is it?
We blend specialty epoxies for application to manholes and tunnels and infrastructure, and we have a patent on that particular process.
And when was this $2,000 loan? How did it come about?
Ms. Tacker had been having, she had related to me that she'd been having a lot of problems with her husband. At one point in the office one day, she broke down and cried, and she related to us that she just had to leave. She didn't know what she was going to do, but she wanted to borrow money for a security deposit and first month's rent on another apartment.
So far, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
So subsequently, I did lend her that $2,000. She seemed to still be continuing to have problems with her husband, but she didn't leave him.
When was she supposed to pay you back?
Well, we spoke about that. She said, you know, after she had left and set herself up in a new place, you know, that she would be able to start paying me back.
So far, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Did she ever pay you back any of the money?
She gave us a total of $800 towards everything she owed us, which was about $4,000.
Go ahead.
Later in the summer, there was also another loan for $600.
How did that come about?
I really don't know. It was written out of my company checkbook. I wasn't there at the time, and I do not recall any conversation about what that money was for.
Well, maybe Ms. Tacker can tell me.
In July, my husband had traveled to St. Louis to see his mother. She became very ill. My husband traveled a lot with the company and subsequently would use money out of our checking account. At that time, I actually had checks that were going to bounce, and I called Jane and I said, Jane was in the office, we were together, And I approached her and I said, I know that I owe you money. I said, I'm in kind of a bind right now. Fred's used our debit card again on his travels. And said, can we just continue with the payroll deduction, and can I borrow an additional $600 so that I wouldn't bounce checks? And she agreed to that.
You don't remember that?
I wasn't in the office, and the check isn't in my handwriting. It's in Miss Tacker's writing, so I believe that if I were in the office, I would have written that check. She wasn't in the habit of writing checks out of that account for me.
So far, we have $2,600. When was she terminated?
She was terminated in January 2003.
Why?
I had confronted Miss Tacker and her husband regarding a gas card, a company gas card.
Your company gas card?
Yeah, it was a company gas card that we have for our construction personnel that travel state to state. And those cards are numbered. They don't have names on them, but there's number 2, number 3, number 4. Now, towards the end of the year, when we were going through our accounts, we noticed a card that we didn't have assigned to anyone that had been showing up all year. And when I looked at the charges on the card, they were all local charges. There was nothing out of state except maybe 2 charges. I think one was Michigan, one was St. Louis. They were all very local, and they were all very close to the residents of the Tackers. So I went in and I asked Mr. Tacker if he indeed had a company gas card, and he admitted that he did.
Did he work for your company?
Well, he worked for our company also, yes.
What did he do for your company?
Well, we had hired him to try to support my husband. Our company started to grow really big, and there was a lot of traveling involved for my husband.
So you hired him before or after they started to have difficulty together?
Before.
Go ahead, Miss Warren.
So when I confronted him, he said he had the gas card. He went to pull it out of his wallet, and he said, oh, I think Lisa has it. Asked her for the gas card. She handed it to him. He handed it to me. She didn't say anything. I asked Fred how he got the gas card. He really didn't have much of an answer for me about that.
So you fired both of them?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
An employer doesn't have to hang on to somebody that they don't like and that they don't trust. Is that right?
Are you satisfied with me?
I'm satisfied.
Oh, then you're absolutely right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jane Warren claims former employee Lisa Tacker owes for an unpaid loan so she could leave her husband. Jane says Lisa was fired for stealing from the company.
Okay, Ms. Tacker?
Yes.
I'm ready to hear you. First, about the $2,600 in loans.
Basically, what Jane has said, the $2,000 I did borrow, my husband and I were having problems. I had anticipated leaving him. I did not leave my husband. We eventually ended up working things out. I did use the money for rent and bills, and then the $600, as I told you, I borrowed when my husband was in St. Louis. I was making payroll deductions every week. I had every intention of paying the money back that I owed. It was never...
So you owe the money?
I was making payroll deductions against it.
So at this point, as you stand here today, what is your defense to this $2,600 loan?
My defense is I was making payments every week, payroll deductions. The story that Jane just gave about the reason Fred and I was fired is completely ludicrous.
Fine. So she's entitled to her $2,600. You have no defense. Is that right?
That's correct.
That was easy. All right, let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for $2,000 for wrongful termination. Go ahead.
On January the 21st, incidentally, the gas card happened probably 2 months before Fred and I were both fired. Fred was working on a case. He had uncovered some information about some test results in Birmingham, actually saved the company probably a multi-million-dollar job in Birmingham, Alabama.
How did he get the gas card?
The gas card was given to him by Shelley. He did a lot of travel. Shelley is sitting right over there.
You work for the company?
I'm the bookkeeper.
Step up here. What's your last name?
Fournier.
Did you ever give either of the Tuckers a gas card?
No, Your Honor. Neither one of them.
Where are they kept?
When the gas cards were ordered for the crew, the gas cards were sent to the crew members that are on the road. No one in the office or in the state of Massachusetts has a gas card.
Sit down. Go ahead.
Your Honor, that Fred was traveling a lot for the company, and like I said, he used our debit card a lot. He was reimbursed for his expenses, but a lot of times he had to come out with them before the reimbursement. As far as my termination, my husband and I, like I said, we're both employed. On January the 21st, I believe it was Tuesday, we had just been paid. Danny came and I went to Danny. I had just finished some paperwork for him. I went into him and said, I'm getting ready to leave for the day. He goes, well, can I see you both in my office? I'd like to talk to you. We both went into his office. He told Fred that he was not happy. He said he was aware that I was looking for another job. I laughed at him. I'm pregnant. There's no way I'm looking for another job. I have health insurance. Told Fred that he didn't trust him, that he didn't want him to come back, and he was firing him. He turned around and looked at me and said to me, you're the best employee that I've had. I really don't want to lose you. I hope we can work something out. At this time, I'm 13 weeks pregnant. I'm hormonal. My husband's just been fired, so I told him, I said, look, I'll talk to you in the morning. I have to go home. Got home and really was kind of relieved about the whole Danny-Fred situation being over. It had caused a lot of tension in the office. And
who's Danny?
Danny is sitting right over there.
You said that you're really kind of relieved because of the whole Danny-Fred situation because it was too tense. What was tense about it?
Well, one day that, like I said, Fred had just saved the company a multi-million-dollar account. Some days things were great. Some days, Danny hated Fred, and Fred was the worst thing that ever happened. And it was just a constant personality clash there. There were always problems.
And that's fine. Irrespective of the gas card, an employer doesn't have to hang on to somebody that they don't like and that they don't trust. Not in America.
And I completely understand that.
Isn't that right? Is that right?
Are you satisfied with me?
I'm satisfied.
Then you're absolutely right.
Well, and that evening, like I said, I was told by him that he wanted to keep me on as an employee. I got up the next morning. I was on my way to work. I received a phone call from Danny stating that it would just be best if I didn't return to work because my presence made Jane feel too uncomfortable in the office. That was the reason I was given for being fired.
So what happened?
So I tried to call Danny repeatedly with no luck. Sometimes he would answer his phone and say, I'm in a meeting, or I'll call you back. So that Friday I sent an email to Jane and said, look, I've been trying to get in touch with Danny, and I addressed the fact, I know I owe you money. I said, I think that I'm not being unreasonable in my request for severance pay. It's going to take a while for unemployment to go through. My unemployment, incidentally, was denied.
Because?
Their reason was that I was knowingly conducting my own business from the office. That was the determination that I got from unemployment.
What business were you conducting from the office?
I don't know.
Were you conducting your own business from the office?
No, not to my knowledge, I was not.
Well, you were the one who would know. What kind of business did, if any? I mean, I don't know if that's the reason.
There are criminal charges pending, so I don't know if we can talk about it.
Against whom?
Against Mr. Tacker.
What about her?
She was involved, I think.
Just give me the nature of the criminal charges that are pending against Mr. Tacker.
Felony theft charges.
About what?
I found evidence that Mr. Tacker was formulating brochures for a company that he called Moist Tech, utilizing our epoxies and our technology and doing business for cash, coating people's basements. I found quite a bit of
You have evidence of that?
Yes, I do. And the epoxy was being stolen, actually, from our facility to do those basements.
Let us assume, Mrs. Tacker, that there is some modicum of truth to what the plaintiff says with regard to your husband conducting any business outside of the company while utilizing, at least in any measure, information that he garnered while he was working for the company. That's reason enough for Mrs. Warren to feel uncomfortable having you work in the office. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Good. So your counterclaim's dismissed. And you owe her $2,600. Pay her. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I really thought we were friends. We were very, very close.
We were friends in the past, and I felt very personally betrayed as well as betrayed through the business.
Mr. Warren's personality and my personality kind of clashed from the very beginning when I was hired with the company.
Mrs. Tacker was a great employee. Unfortunately, she got tangled up in some illegal activities in the company, and she had to be terminated.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kanoki versus Simpson. Step forward, please.
25-year-old insurance adjuster Steve Kanoki is suing his former friend's girlfriend, 26-year-old homemaker Tony Simpson, for throwing away the faceplate to his car stereo.
Mr. Kanoki, it is your claim that the defendant either threw out or destroyed purposefully a faceplate for a stereo.
Right.
Is that for your car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing that fits over the whole gizmo, so it makes it look nice.
Yeah, and it's detachable, so it's kind of theft-proof because the rest of the stereo is no good without the face.
Why would she do that? When did she do that? How did you find out that she did that? Because you didn't see her do it.
Right. We've never gotten along. That's no secret with any of our friends.
Okay, you don't get along with her. She's a friend of yours.
Right. I lost it. My car broke down, and I had to take the faceplate out because it was about 10 miles from my house. Roger came up to get me, so I grabbed all my insurance money.
Roger is your friend?
Right.
Okay. You took the faceplate off your car.
Right.
When?
Probably 3 or 4 months ago.
And where did you put it when you took it off your car 3 or 4 months ago?
I put it on the table in my home.
When was the last time you saw it?
3 or 4 months ago.
And when did you find that the faceplate was missing?
A week later in July 2002.
Because why? Because you went to look on the table where you would put it?
Yes, because I'd gotten my car back.
You went to look at the table.
Right.
And it wasn't on the table where
No,
you had left it. Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
Who else has access to your house?
All my friends.
How many?
Yeah, a good 7 or 8.
Does anybody else have a key to your house?
No.
But your friends come and go?
When I'm there, yeah.
Okay. Now, what makes you think she took it from your house?
She told me.
Okay. When did she tell you she took it?
Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Tell me what she said to you.
Her and Roger were in a fight that night, so he called me to come get him. He came over, she was calling a lot, so I was like, you know, please quit calling. Then she got mad, and she called and left a message on my machine that said, why don't you ask Roger what happened to the faceplate to your stereo? And I've got that on tape.
She said to you, why don't you ask Roger what happened to the faceplate on your stereo?
And she told me that she had thrown it out the window of her car.
On the tape?
No, all I have on the tape, it says, why don't you ask Roger what happened to the faceplate to your stereo?
Okay. So did you ask Roger?
He told me to call her and ask her, and I did, and she told me that she took it and threw it out the window of her car on the way home.
Okay, let me hear.
I was out
Look
of town.
at me.
I was out of town, and Roger took my car and picked him up when his car got broke down. He left it in my car. I didn't know.
Who left it in your car?
Steve left his faceplate in my car. And I didn't know whose it was. For 2 weeks it was in there. Nobody said anything to me about it, nothing. And when I cleaned out the car, I threw everything out. And then Roger comes to me and he says, well, what happened to it? And I said, I don't know. What are you talking about? And he says, well, Steve's faceplate was in the car. And I said, well, I cleaned out the car. It's in the trash.
So you did not take it from his house?
No. I did not take it from his house.
You are?
Roger. Horman.
You went to pick him up when his car broke down?
Correct.
He took the faceplate off. You remember that? Had the faceplate in his hand. Where did you take him?
I took him back to his house.
Did you see at that time, or do you remember what he did with the faceplate?
I remember me leaving that day, going home, and the faceplate was sitting in her console right next to her emergency brake. And me remembering that I need to give that, I need to give that back to her before, or back to him before it gets lost or stolen. So, and that was it. That was the last time I heard of it, until probably a couple weeks later when Steve had mentioned that it was missing. And I remembered that he had left it in my car, so of course I asked her what happened to it, because I knew she'd cleaned the car out and stuff, and I knew that they weren't always the best of friends, so just wanted to make sure that...
So let me ask you this question. Is this something, how big is this faceplate?
It's just a little by that, just a little thing. And if it was turned upside down, it's black on one side, so, and it just has a little slit in it. I don't know if she would have known what it was if she was cleaning out, so.
She's not responsible for knowing what it is anyway.
So.
So it was after he asked where his faceplate was, you asked her, and she said, I don't know, I must have thrown it out.
Yeah, because I knew she had cleaned her car out, and I figured that the way things were between those two, that they probably had minimal chance of survival, so. And that's when I found out, and I didn't tell him about it, because I knew he'd be.
He says you didn't leave it on your table, that you left it in the car. So what you're saying is that she came into your house and stole it from your house?
That's exactly what I'm saying, yes.
I don't, you can't establish that. I don't believe that. That she came in and stole one thing from your house and purposely threw it out. One piece of plastic from your house and purposely threw it out. I don't believe that. Sorry, case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Mr. and Mrs. Thrasher, the defendants were house-sitting for you. I believe one of the defendants had done some house-sitting for you previously. Is that right? Which one had done house sitting for you previously?
Jennifer.
And according to your complaint, a ring of yours turned up missing.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your position that they are responsible for the loss/theft of that ring.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendants say they know nothing about your ring. How many times has Jennifer done house sitting for you?
Once for an extended period of time, approximately 2.5 years ago.
And how long was that extended period of time?
Well, 2 weeks while we were on
vacation. 2 weeks is a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
So once for 2 weeks, and then?
Well, and she and her sister have been friends of our family and our daughter since '96, so they've been at our house numerous times.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Both with and without you being there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Where was this ring?
In my jewelry box, in a drawer under the waterbed behind other papers.
So well concealed?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. And what else was in the jewelry box?
Numerous other rings that I own, also rubies.
And when did you discover it missing?
Probably within a week or so after we got back, because
A week or so?
Approximately a week, ma'am, yes.
Were any of the other rings missing from the jewelry box?
No, ma'am.
Aside from you and your husband, who else lives in the house?
My daughter.
And how old is your daughter?
20.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Does your husband work?
Yes, ma'am.
Your daughter?
She was in school, college at that time.
But she lives at home and goes to college?
Yes, ma'am.
Does she ever have company?
She does, but she was on vacation with us.
I'm talking about when you came home.
Oh, very rarely, no, ma'am. She has a boyfriend that comes occasionally, but not during the period of time that before we discovered this ring gone.
Well, you don't know that at all because you were working.
True, but she's usually tells me when he comes there.
Who knows? You tell me why you believe that a court could make a judgment by the required quantum of proof other than just guessing.
Okay.
Why these two people should be held responsible for the loss of your ring.
Okay. Before we went on vacation, it was discussed that they were going to be sleeping in my daughter's room, and they were welcome to the food and to make themselves at home to some degree. And when we returned, it was obvious our bedroom had been slept in. There were candles from all over the house, all over the room. There were clothing. There was actually a used condom. And there were messages on our machine for 2 people that were not authorized to be there.
What do you mean authorized to be there?
Well, they weren't authorized to be staying there.
Mm-hmm. You didn't know them?
Yes, I do. It was Jennifer's sister and her boyfriend.
Had you specifically said they were not to be there?
No, not to be there, but they were not to stay.
Stay there. Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
And from the messages, it was obvious they had been staying there because they were receiving messages on our phone, and they also told us that at a later point in time. Because when we discovered that the ring was gone, we went to speak to her sister and the boyfriend and the other couple that we knew were there from them telling my daughter, and told them that the ring had disappeared while we were gone. I didn't particularly want to know who took it, but I wanted either the ring or the pawn ticket back. As long as it appeared at my house, I didn't want to go any further with it. They all denied having anything to do with it, but they did say they had been in our room for approximately a week. That was 2 of them. The other 2 said they had just visited. And they denied that they had taken it, and so I had no alternative, and I told them at the same time but to file a police report, which I did. And the police told me that a stolen ring and the limited budget in Oregon was really not something they were going to do. They would take the report, but they couldn't really do much about it.
Can't do anything about it. You had no proof these people took it.
Exactly, except that they were responsible for our home, and they did have other people there for periods of time staying in my home, and I feel that that makes them responsible for what goes on in that period of time.
Ms. Thrasher, you're absolutely right. Your problem is that you did not discover the ring missing for at least a week to 10 days after you came back.
That's because I didn't put it on. I'm sorry.
That doesn't make any difference. And during that time, there were other people that had access to your home. So that if you had checked your ring box before you left, and everything was there, and you left them responsible and indicated to them that anything that comes up missing in this house is going to be your responsibility, and immediately on your return you checked and found the ring missing, that would have meant that during their watch something was stolen from the house. That doesn't necessarily mean that they took it, but by permitting someone else to be in the room, it closes the circumstantial evidence that during their watch the ring was missing. But you did not discover this ring missing until well after your return. And you and your husband are not in exclusive control of your home. Because you have a 20-year-old daughter who has friends, who has a boyfriend. You go to work, your husband goes to work. So it is possible that someone else was responsible for taking that ring. Possible. I also find it sort of odd that someone would take one ring and leave all of the other jewelry.
I felt that probably they took one, and there are probably 9 in there, thinking that I wouldn't notice one, because I do have a lot of rings. Because if they'd taken all of them, obviously, there would have been a felony here.
Jennifer, your sister and her boyfriend stayed over, and they slept in the Thrasher's bedroom?
They slept in Evan's bedroom. We were the ones that slept in their bedroom.
Well, you weren't supposed to sleep in their bedroom.
They never said that we couldn't, and they actually said that we can use the room and their bathtub, because they have a jacuzzi tub.
Weren't you supposed to stay in one of the children's rooms?
They did not
I would have
tell
felt
me
more
that at
comfortable,
all.
but they said that we could.
Were you under the impression, Jennifer, because so far I don't think that it's been established that you are responsible for the loss of this ring. Okay, got it? Did you believe that when they left, your sister and her boyfriend were welcome to stay over in the home with you?
I did, because she has stated that me and my sister were always welcome over there.
Always welcome over there does not necessarily mean living in. So what I'm asking is I want you to be honest with me.
Okay.
First of all, did you tell Mr. and Mrs. Thrasher when they came home that your sister had stayed in the home?
No, I did not.
Did they call up during the course of their vacation to check on things?
Yes.
Did you tell them that everything is fine, my sister and her boyfriend are staying here?
No, I did not.
And you didn't tell them because you didn't want any difficulty?
Exactly.
So you knew they weren't supposed to be there?
I didn't know that they weren't supposed to be there.
So you understand how you answered my last 2 questions? You didn't tell them that your sister and the boyfriend was staying over, either when they called or when they came home, because you knew that they would not be happy about that.
Right.
So if you knew they wouldn't be happy about it, you knew they weren't supposed to be there.
Correct.
Boy, this is like shooting fish in a barrel.
I feel the same way.
So what's supposed to happen is, listen.
Sorry. I'm very sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're her boyfriend? You're going to be gone soon. Probability of you lasting more than another few months in a relationship is practically 0.
And later today,
All I have is a paper showing from my computer that every time I paid her.
Is that true, sir? That every time you got paid, you gave her money?
Yes, it was.
Is that right?
No, it's not. And we didn't even have a computer then, so I don't know what
Yes,
he's
we
talking
did.
about. But no,
Yes,
we
we
did
did.
not.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tony and Thomas Thrasher claim while they were on vacation, former friends Jennifer Page and her boyfriend Chris Clark house sat. The Thrashers say when they returned, a $500 ring was missing.
She's been a friend of the family since 1996. How long have you known her?
I've known Jen now for over a year.
Okay. You're her boyfriend? You're going to be gone soon. In the scheme of things, you're going to be gone soon. Probability of you lasting more than another few months in a relationship is practically 0. If I saw her this time next year, you wouldn't be around. You understand? She's known them for 6 years. She's a friend of their daughters. So if you did anything to subvert their friendship, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I don't know whether you did or not. I don't know whether you did or not. I'm not accusing you of anything. Far be it from me to accuse you of anything. But don't contribute anything to this conversation, because you, sir, as far as I'm concerned, are irrelevant to their relationship, because you're going to be gone. She doesn't know that yet. I know it. And anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Thrasher, you cannot establish with the degree of certainty that this court requires that either one of them are responsible for the loss of your ring. I'm sorry that you lost your ring, but you have others. Case dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They were responsible for the house, and other people were allowed in there.
She had said that there's a ring missing.
They knew nothing about it.
And asked if I knew anything about it. I said I had no idea.
So somebody in that group, it felt like, took it.
I've even confronted the other people that stayed in there twice.
Figured we had to try, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
And I have no idea.
I didn't accuse them of
taking the ring or anything. I hope we can still be friends.
I just feel like I can't be trusted by them anymore.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Spry versus Sussex. Step forward, please.
Factory worker Deborah Spry is suing her daughter's ex-fiancé, 23-year-old factory worker Matthew Sussex, for an unpaid loan to pay bills. Matthew says Deborah's daughter Jamie owes for half.
Mrs. Spry, the defendant is your daughter's former boyfriend.
Yes.
According to your complaint, you made a loan to him. Claim he still owes you about $3,000 on that loan.
That's correct.
What I gather is that this loan was made to the defendant at a time that the defendant and your daughter were living together.
Right.
And they have 2 children.
Yes.
Is this your daughter?
Yes.
Just stand up, please. Tell me your first name.
Jamie.
How long were you living with Mr. Sussex?
Probably about 4 years.
And how old are your children?
4 and 2.
And when did you start living with him?
When I was about 16. Well, actually, he moved in with my mom when he was about 16. His parents moved away.
How long were you living with him away from your mother's house?
Probably about 3.
Now, it was your daughter and Mr. Sussex who came to you about this loan. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me about when that happened and what the conversation was.
Well, first it was brought up, do you think that you would be able to lend Matt some money to consolidate his bills?
What kind of bills? That would be the first question Mother would ask.
Well, I guess I was naive enough to not ask that question, but I thought that he was a good provider at the time. And
Miss Spry, your daughter is living with him. Now, they're not married, but they're living as a family. They have 2 children. Normal conversation would be, we've gotten behind in some of our bills. Could you lend us some money to catch up on our bills? I mean, I can't understand why your daughter would think that these are just his bills if she's living there with 2 children.
well, she was pregnant at the time that they had moved in my house. They had lived with her dad before that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, Miss Spry, you're not going to get me off the track. You understand where I'm going. I'm trying to figure out whether this loan was made to your daughter and to the defendant, or whether it was just made to the defendant. What I'm talking about is at the time that you gave them the money, and how much did you give them?
I gave them $4,000.
Okay. The time that you gave them the money, were you giving this money to them as a couple?
Well, I guess I was, because they were planning on getting married this year in June, actually.
Fine. Okay. So you wrote out a check for $4,000, and you took the check, sir, and deposited it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what bills did you pay with that $4,000?
Got caught up on my house payments and my car payments.
What else?
I had some doctor bills.
What kind of doctor bills?
I was in the hospital for kidney stones.
And what kind of doctor bill was that?
There was a $1,100 one and a $580 one.
So your medical bills were around $1,700?
Yeah, that's about right.
But those were your medical bills?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did you pay those off with this $4,000?
I paid most of it off, yes. I didn't pay all of it, no.
What else did you pay off?
That was basically about all I paid off with it.
So far, is that right, Jamie?
Yes and no. He agreed to pay for a bill that had both of our names on it, and it was for a credit card. And he told me he was going to pay it off and never did. I'm still getting bills for it now. It's in collection. It's up to $1,000 now. So.
And that's on both your names?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
That credit card was only in her name. I was just on the card. I was just a second name on the card.
Did you use the card?
Yes, we both used the card.
Okay.
But the reason I didn't pay that card off was because me and her also went and spent money for clothes. She spent almost $500 of it on clothes.
Listen, 2 people decide to live together, raise a family, and do not believe that having children together is a commitment because they don't want to get married because marriage is too much of a commitment. So you have children together, and then you have that non-commitment. That I don't understand. So I'm not getting into, you know, she bought herself a pair of slacks and you bought yourself a shirt and she bought herself 2 pairs of shoes. I have no time for that, nor the patience. I want to know, between the time this loan was taken and today, how much money has been paid back on it?
The total of $855 has been paid on the loan.
Okay.
And Jay Marie told me that she's paid $300 of it. Herself.
Oh. And how much could you support that you paid her?
Well, I had put it on my computer every time I paid, and to my recollection, Jamie never paid any of that money.
How much did you pay?
I told it up. It was $21.60.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have the dates when you paid that money?
Not the exact dates, but every time I got paid, I paid her $60 every 2 weeks, and then after a little while, she wanted more money, so I was paying her $100 every 2 weeks.
Did you pay her by check or cash?
Cash.
And you don't have the dates?
No, exactly.
Well, how am I supposed to figure that out?
All I have is a paper showing from my computer that every time I paid her.
No, you have a computer showing every time you got paid.
Well,
and you, right?
Yeah.
So you went back and you figured out when you got paid, and you say, every time I got paid, I gave her money.
Yes.
Is that true, sir? That every time you got paid, you gave her money?
Yes, it was.
Is that right?
No, it's not. And we didn't even have a computer then, so I don't know what
Yes,
he's
we
talking
did.
about. No,
Yes,
we did
we
not.
did.
No. Doesn't sound right, Mr. Sussex. However, Ms. Spry, let me tell you this. I believe that you lent both of these children money. You lent them money as a couple. It becomes my task to try to weed out what money was for joint stuff and what money was for individual stuff. And I'm going to just estimate that what's been paid back so far is $1,000, leaving a balance of $3,000. And I'm going to assume that $1,000 that was in fact paid back was for joint bills. Joint house payment, joint car payment, joint credit card payment, joint. Clearly, $1,700 of that $4,000 belongs to him, because those are his medical bills. So of the $3,000 that's left, he owes $1,700 so far, leaving $1,300 left. One half of $1,300 is $650, because half of it is attributed to your daughter, because she should be paying back half of this joint loan that you gave them. You did not give it to him, you gave it to them. That's another $650. That's $2,350. That's what you owe her. That takes care of your half of the joint bills and $1,700 of your own personal medical bills. Judgment for the plaintiff in that amount, that's all. Miss Malloy, the defendant was your boyfriend, and according to your complaint, the two of you leased an apartment together, and you lived together for a short period of time, when, due to some acrimony in the home, you decided to move out.
Yes.
Your claim is twofold. The first part of your claim is that while you were still in the relationship, the defendant's father became ill in Hawaii, and you loaned him the money for a plane ticket to go and say goodbye to him before he died.
Yes.
You went to see your father. Your father was dying of cancer, I gather. Is that right?
Correct.
And he has never repaid that loan.
He has not.
The second part of your claim is that the landlord of the apartment that you were living in is holding you responsible for some $800, which is the last month's rent, and some cleaning fees and late charges. You are not living there the majority of the lease, and it is your claim that you should not be responsible for that. The defendant says that the plane ticket was not a loan, but a gift, and that you actually owe him for half the rent the time that he had to live there and absorbed the entire rent when you moved out. That's your counterclaim.
That is correct.
Okay. You understand all that, Bert?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. If you understand it, then I understand it. When did you lease this apartment?
That would have been last May 2001.
And when was the plane ticket?
That would have been in July of last year.
Under what circumstances did you put this ticket on your credit card? I want you to tell me about it.
It was a last-minute decision. We had known his father was ill for some time, but it came up that he was very ill. The end was very near. He has very poor credit, so he has no credit card or anything to that matter. And he had money in his 401 or whatever at work, but didn't have instant access to it. So I said I would put it on my credit card in the event that once he got to the money from work, he would pay me back, or whatever means he would get the money, income tax, whether it was taking it from his work account, whatever.
Miss Malloy, I want you to listen to me very carefully. I don't want you to embellish this story for me, because if you embellish the story, then I don't believe anything you say. Do you understand?
Okay. I don't think that I am, but
yes,
okay.
you are. Yes, you are.
Okay.
Because if you're living with someone, sleeping with them, sharing a bed, and their parent is dying, he may say, I want to go. Mm-hmm. I don't have a credit card. Can you put it on your card? And you say yes. I will, with the full expectation that he's going to pay you back. But if you think for 1 minute that I believe that he said to you, put it on your credit card and either I'll pay you back from my 401k or when I get my taxes, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back when I work overtime. That's something that doesn't transpire. Do you understand when I say embellishing? That's what you just did. You embellished. So don't embellish. If you don't remember, say I don't remember. I will make a judgment as to whether or not he's going to return the money to you. But don't embellish.
Okay.
Good. You want to start again? He knew that his father was dying. He couldn't get to any money. Now let me hear it.
So I said I'd put it on my credit card in the event he would pay me back.
What do you mean, in the event that he would pay you back? I don't understand what
It
that...
wasn't going to be like tomorrow or the next day. It would be when he got access to the money.
Well, go ahead. Let me hear your version of the plane ticket.
Okay. As she stated...
Make sure I hear everything. Don't embellish.
Yes, ma'am. As she stated, my father was very ill. Last minute thing, the family called and says, listen, if you're going to come see him, come now. And it was a holiday, so I did not have access to my credit union to obtain the plane ticket.
Okay, great. Now let's stop there, Mr. Anderson.
Okay.
So it was on a Saturday of a holiday weekend.
Right.
But I gather from what you just told me, had the call come in on a Tuesday, your emotional state at that time was, I want to see my father before he dies. I want to say goodbye. So you would have gone to your credit union and gotten the money, right?
Possibly.
What did you say, Bird? You see what Bird is saying to you? Do you understand what he's saying to you? You're going to answer my question.
Okay.
You hadn't feuded with your father.
Actually, I have.
Oh, good. So you wanted to make up with him before he died. That's a very good thing.
I was contemplating doing that, yes.
Good. Don't you love it? Don't you just love it? So you had a father that you were feuding with. He was dying of cancer. If you want to come see him, come see him. You wanted to put things to rest before he was laid to rest. If it was on a Tuesday, you would have gone to your credit union and gotten out the money. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Perfect. But it was on a Saturday, so you had no access to your credit union.
Correct.
So she put it on her credit card.
Correct.
So you pay her back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you, in fact, move somebody else into the apartment?
No.
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
What's her name?
Jeannie.
You know a Jeannie who slept over at the apartment occasionally?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Jeannie.
And later today.
I didn't plan on keeping receipts because I didn't think it was necessary with my parents.
I hate to see parents bring their children to court.
I was there to give them a hand up, not a handout.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Malloy says, former live-in boyfriend Rick Anderson owes for a plane ticket and rent. Rick says the ticket was a gift.
So, how much was the plane ticket?
With all the interest that accumulated from the time that it was on there, it's roughly about $1,400.
What's roughly? In court, we don't deal with roughly.
Well,
how
there's
much
some
was the
change.
original? How much was the original ticket?
Original ticket was $1,166.84.
Okay, and this was a year ago.
Yes.
And when did you begin to fight?
We had our fights now and then, but I'd say the beginning of the end was probably August.
Okay. And when did you finally move out?
I moved out January of this year.
What discussion had you had with regard to moving out?
It was discussed that he was going to look for a place, and as soon as he found a place, he would move out.
When did you have that discussion with him?
Oh, gosh. September, October.
Okay. So at least 3 or 4 months before you weren't getting along.
Well,
what do you mean, well? What
we were on and off getting along, but for the most part, we weren't. I mean, we'd be civil. Hi, how you doing? Passing, but we weren't
In
sitting
December
down.
of 2001, were you sharing a room?
No.
Is that true?
Correct.
Okay. So it's time to move on and move out. So somebody had to move, right?
Yes.
How come you didn't move?
How come I didn't move? Because I couldn't financially. And the place that I was at, I was obligated under a lease.
And I told him...
How much was your rent?
$743.
When she moved out in January, you still had January, February, March, April, and May. 5 months left on your lease. How did you pay the $743?
I paid it.
How did you pay it?
By check.
Well, if you said you couldn't afford to move out, but you managed to pay the entire rent, $743, after she left. So why didn't you just find another place?
Because I was still under that lease.
Yeah, but
that I was
you
obligated
had
to.
already had an opportunity to discuss with her what would happen if you moved out, and she would take over the lease. You discussed that with her. I know you discussed that with her.
Correct.
Right. So she decided to move out instead.
Yes.
That's smart. Thank you. Okay. Did you pay the last month's rent?
The last month's, no.
Why not?
Because, once again, with moving, with security deposit, all of that on a new place, I didn't have enough money to pay the last month's rent, plus my new expenses at my new place.
Okay. You understand that that's not her responsibility. It's your responsibility.
I feel that it was both of our responsibility because we were both on the lease.
No, no, no. She gave you an opportunity, Mr. Anderson, to move out, and she said, I'll assume the rent. We're not getting along. It's too painful for both of us. We shouldn't live together. And she's absolutely right. I mean, you're not married, you have no children together. Is that a fair statement? You know? You move on. You chose not to do that. You chose to stay in the apartment. Well, then you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And I would tell her the same thing. If the situation were reversed, I would tell her the same thing. You can't have it both ways. In any event, somebody's going to get stuck, and it's not her responsibility. Mr. Anderson, your counterclaim is for the half of the rent for the 5 months that she wasn't there, that she was obligated to pay under the lease. Did you move anybody else in there?
I was going to, Your Honor.
No, going to is not my question, Mr. Anderson. Did you, in fact, move somebody else into the apartment at any time, whether they paid rent or not, after the plaintiff moved out?
No.
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
Tell me about it.
It was his brother's sister. She did live there. I'm not exactly sure the extent of time she lived there, and from what I understand, she wasn't there a lot because of her work schedule when she was living, you know, she stayed at her boyfriend's house.
What's her name?
Jeannie. I'd have to go.
You know a Jeannie who slept over at the apartment occasionally?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Jeannie.
Jeannie is a relative of mine, yes. She was going to move in. She had started to move things in and then chose not to because she chose to live with her boyfriend, but yet I still allowed her to store some of her items at the house.
Where did she store her items?
She had things in the basement, she had some things in the garage, plus she had things in the extra room that was now there.
What do you mean the extra room that was now there? What does that mean?
There was an empty bedroom.
The one that she had slept in?
Correct.
And what did she store in that bedroom?
She had boxes, she had china from her divorce. I mean, just boxes of things. I'm not sure what all she had.
There was a bed in there as well.
Okay. He had a roommate that didn't pay rent.
Actually,
he had a bunch of boxes that didn't pay rent, according to him. Doesn't have anything to do with you. His counterclaim is dismissed. He chose to substitute somebody else's furniture and miscellaneous items for having you live there. He chose to do that gratuitously. That's his problem. In any event, I don't think you're responsible for the half the rent anyway. But he is responsible for the plane ticket, which I am roughly calculating with interest at $1,300, and he's responsible for the $800 that you're getting done for. That, I believe, is $2,100 if my math is correct. Is that right, Bert?
Absolutely right.
And for that, I am issuing a judgment in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you very much. That's all your counterclaims dismissed, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you,
Parties
Your
are
Honor.
excused. You may step out.
It's very upsetting, but I'm happy with the decision.
It's not the verdict I was looking for.
He said, I'll pay you back, I'll pay you back.
There was no mention of paying back.
It's been over a year and I haven't seen any money.
We were in a relationship, and, you know, people do things for each other.
Never loan anybody any money, ever.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of De Lunas versus De Lunas, step forward, please.
Factory worker Michael DeLunas Sr. and his wife Lori are suing Michael's son, 21-year-old shipping clerk Michael DeLunas Jr., for the unpaid balance on a car.
Mr. and Mrs. DeLunas, the defendant is your son, sir, and your stepson. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you claim that he owes you for car-related loans. He paid you some money, but according to you, he still owes you some money. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Defendant said he has paid all that he owes you. So let's see. When was the first loan and what for?
The first inquiry was around March. It was for getting his car out of impound. A friend of his borrowed it, and the wheel fell off, and they towed it.
Okay, so it was to get his car out of impound. And how much was it to get the car out of impound?
Charge for impound was $415, and the repair service was $85.28.
Great, $500. So far you agree with that, is that
Yes,
right, sir?
ma'am.
Okay, what happened after the car got out of impound?
Well, we took it back to my property where we were staying, and he started to move and live with me then. and it was beyond being fixed, I mean, within reason. So my wife went to the bank to make a cash withdrawal for $2,800 or something to buy him a new car so he could have a way back and forth to get to work.
He was a little reluctant to put a lot of money into that car because he claimed it used a lot of gas, and he wanted something with better gas mileage.
So tell me about the discussion that you had with him with regard to this new car.
Well, a lot of the discussions took place between he and I. It was basically, we would do whatever necessary to help him get on his feet. That included paying his one aunt off on the original car that was impounded. He owed her 2 payments left on that, total of $400. And
did you pay those off?
Yes, we have a statement also. For her
Is that
bank
right?
account.
They paid those
Yes,
off?
ma'am.
Okay. And what else?
When we originally went and bought this other used car, we had to take it to get it inspected, and it needed approximately $800 to $1,000 worth of work in order for it to pass inspection.
How much was the car in total? How much did you pay for it without the repairs?
It was around, what, $1,500, something, $1,600.
$1,500. And whose name was the car in?
It was in my son's name.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was the repair work?
Let's see, 700. There's a charge for $733.10, and also $326.50.
Now, what was the arrangement that you had with him with regard to paying you back this money?
Basically, that he would stay with us so that he doesn't have any other bills. You know, if he stayed with someone or had an apartment of his own, he wouldn't be able to pay us off as quick as we would like. So the agreement was that he would stay with us and pay us so that the loan would be paid off in like 6 months or less.
Okay. So far, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how much did you pay off, sir?
I actually paid off, I believe it was a little more than $2,000.
How much did he pay off?
He paid us approximately $1,000 of the total.
Did you keep a record, sir?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Like I said, it was my father, my parents. I didn't plan on keeping receipts because I didn't think it was necessary with my parents.
They kept receipts.
Right.
And
Well,
you
that's
as a child.
why I didn't believe that I would need receipts.
Because they kept.
Because I believe, my
Fine.
father.
So do you have a schedule of how much he made in payments?
Yes, Your Honor. I had the interest, the dates, everything. I wrote it down. I have no reason to take my son for any money. I was there to give him a hand up, not a hand out.
Well, let me ask you a question. The interest was interest that the bank was charging you?
For the credit card, the
just
cash
the credit
advance.
card, but weren't charging him any interest yourself.
No, just whatever they charged on the credit amount.
Okay, so they kept a record. So now I hear your defense.
Well, like I said, I borrowed the money for the cars. But I told them that I didn't want an excessive amount on another car. I didn't want to go into too much debt because I had just paid off almost $5,000 on the previous car. And like I said, that took a lot of my money and had me, it's hard to get back on your feet.
I'm ready for the defense, sir. Give me the defense. Go ahead.
Well, I almost paid the $2,500 off, which was originally what I wanted to borrow.
No, you only paid off $1,000.
$1,000. Well, I was told that it was almost down to $2,200.
Well, now I have
after my last payment.
$2,460. Go
Okay.
ahead.
And the excessive repair amounts and stuff, that I don't know where like I said, I didn't expect all that excess money to come into it.
How old are you?
I just turned 21 in December.
Where's the car now?
Actually, it had a cracked head, and it only lasted for 2 months. And
So
then
where is it now?
the motor went out on it.
Where is it now?
I had to sell it.
So your defense really is that the car didn't run very well.
I actually had a couple of other cars that we looked at previously, and he took a look at them, and they all had problems, or they would kill me in the long run. But this was the good car.
You went with them to choose the car.
Right, but I'm not the car expert. I don't, like I said, I didn't know about it. I was told it was a good running car.
Who's a car expert?
My father.
No, ma'am, I'm not. I looked at the car and I asked him if that's what he wanted.
Can't tell me.
And then he was happy about the car, Your Honor. And then when we got home to get it inspected and found out it needed all these repairs and he agreed upon getting the repairs done, I put them on my credit card.
Listen, I hate to see parents bring their children to court.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's no question he promised to pay you the money. You had an agreement, a contract that said, a verbal contract that said he would pay you the money. I feel terrible, young man, that you don't have the car, but you still have to pay for it.
Right.
Because they still have to pay off their credit card.
Right, I understand. I planned on paying them back.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,460. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Have a seat, sir.
Miss Henriksen, you purchased a used car from the defendant who was a friend of your boyfriend's, according to what I've read. This car was purchased some time ago. You gave him a down payment, and then there were a series of circumstances. In any event, he took the car back. You want what you paid in on the car, or the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mitchell says that you didn't abide by the terms of your contract with him, even though it was a verbal contract, and he really got shafted because a car that was once valuable, he had to ultimately get rid of for a lot less money. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. When did you purchase this car from him, Miss Henriksen?
I purchased it in about late July of 2001.
And what kind of car was it?
It was a 1991 Pontiac Firebird.
And what was the agreed upon purchase price?
$4,500.
So far, is all of that correct?
Yes.
And you gave him a down payment?
Yes, ma'am. $1,500.
What were the payment terms?
The payment terms were going to be agreed upon the amount it was going to be based on what I was making. I was working as a telemarketer, and so I was unsure of the paychecks I was going to be getting. So he agreed to give me a couple months to get settled in my job so I would have an average paycheck so I could make adequate payments.
Did you start making payments to him?
No, ma'am.
Did not?
No.
Tell me why.
I was unsuccessful as a telemarketer in the state of California, and I decided it was best for me to move to Idaho, where I'm originally from. At that time, I had found work in a heartbeat, and I was willing to make payments at that time.
Just a second. So in October, you did not make any payments as you promised?
No, ma'am.
So you breached the contract?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Breached the contract. You left that out of your papers. He's not, let me explain something to you. He is not a partner in your misfortune. He agreed to give you, out of the goodness of his heart, time to pay, and you didn't. All right, so now we come to October, and you made no payments. What about November?
And by November, I had established a job in Idaho, and I had listed into the Army National Guard.
Did you make any payments in November?
By November, he had asked for the car back, ma'am. I did not make a payment, no.
Were you still driving the car in November?
I had driven it back to the state of California. To give
In
it back to
November?
him. Yes,
When in
ma'am.
November?
Right before Thanksgiving, ma'am.
So the end of November?
Yes, ma'am.
So you made no payments in November?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you have his permission to take the car from California to Idaho?
He did not tell me that I could not.
Yes, sir.
That's not true.
Go ahead.
The agreement was when I found out that towards the end of October she was going to move back to Idaho because things weren't working out here and she could find work there, I said, that's fine. I was initially approached by my best friend Dennis, which is her former fiance, and he had let me know she was moving, so I said, that's fine and everything, but the car is not leaving California until paid for.
Right, that sounds smart.
So we had talked about it. The next day, she had talked with Dennis, and they both decided that she would take his Honda to Idaho, and he would stay in California and make monthly payments to me since he owed her money on a previous car accident he was in that her family loaned her. And then when she decided to move to Idaho, come to find out, my car was gone and the Honda was out in front of our apartment complex.
And you took it back?
Yep.
How much did you ultimately sell it for or get rid of it for?
I didn't ultimately sell it. It was impounded by the CHP for non-registration. I had it in my carport at my apartment complex because I was holding it for her. When I retained the vehicle back in November, the new agreement of our verbal contract was for me to hold it. She said she was getting some sum for signing up, going to boot camp, and she would get more money when she got out. When she got out of boot camp, she would pay me the $3,000 owing, and then in essence the car would be hers. I would transfer title. Well, everything was hunky-dory. I held the car for her. She gets out of boot camp.
When did you get out of boot camp?
June of 2002.
Okay. What happened when you got out of boot camp?
I had the money for the rest of the car. I had the $3,000 he requested. I called and I called. He did not return any of my calls. The one time I did get a hold of him, he told me that he no longer had the car.
When was that?
That was early August of 2002.
Just a second. You got out in June of 2002.
Yes,
Where were you
ma'am.
for 2 months?
I was calling him all summer long. Calling him, he would not call me back. I have proof that he received my calls and did not call me back. The one time I got a hold of him.
Is that right?
And the phone calls, yes, but her explanation, no.
Go ahead. Let me hear.
Her explanations, as far as her calling me, yes, those were more on a social event of getting together and whatnot. When she got out of boot camp, I didn't get any phone call from her other than stating that she didn't want the car anymore because her dad felt that the car was not valued for what I wanted it for and that she just wanted her $1,500 back.
Ms. Hendrickson.
Yes.
You know, ordinarily I am very sympathetic to people who put a down payment on the car and then for some reason that I quite frankly wouldn't understand, the car is taken back and people want their money back. You drove his car for 5 months.
Yes, I did.
You drove his car, you put mileage on his car, you drove from California to Idaho, from Idaho back to California. You drove it when you were there, and you expect your $1,500 back after you had his car for 5 months, which would be the equivalent of about $300 a month. If you rented a car, could you rent a car for $300 a month? No. Why do you think that you're entitled to any money back? Especially since you breached the agreement.
Jamie and I had an understanding agreement. We were, all three of us, with Dennis included, were a very tight-knit group.
Well, you're not tight-knit anymore. Now it's business. Now it's business. Why do you think it's fair? Let's talk about equity. Why do you think it's fair for him to be out of car and for you, because of your problems, to expect him to give you your money back when you had exclusive use of his car for 5 months? Even taking it out of state. Put your hand down. Who needs you? You're the boyfriend. Or the ex-boyfriend?
I'm her ex-fiancé.
Good. You're the one who didn't have the guts to tell her not to take the car out of California. Are you the same one?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Jamie and Dennis did a lot of talking, and I was left out of it a lot.
I'm talking about the basic agreement, Ms. Hendrickson. The basic agreement was $1,500 down. I'm going to be a nice guy, give you 2 months to get your finances in order before you have to start making payments on the rest. 2 months came and went, you made no payment. 3 months came and went, you made no payment, and you took the car out of state against his wishes. 3 months, no payments. 4 months, no payments. 5 months, no payments. You bring the car back, you say to him, listen, by the way, hold the car for me, I'm going to boot camp. He's not your father. What?
No, ma'am, I did not tell him to hold the car for me. The agreement was, when I took the car back to him around Thanksgiving, I said, if you are willing to find somebody to pay you full amount for what you asked for the car, I will understand that. You can get the cash, full amount.
Including your $1,500 down payment?
Including my $1,500 down payment.
You're not entitled to that, madam. What makes you think you are entitled to a free ride with his car for 5 months?
I don't know, ma'am.
There is no reason that you're entitled to a free ride with his car for 5 months. That's stupid. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He took the car out from underneath me, point blank.
The car leaving state, coming back, holding the car, I was just really taken advantage of, and it wasn't shown that way.
He knew why I wasn't making payments, and he agreed to work with me, and now he's saying that all of a sudden he wasn't.
The car came between friends, and it's really sad that we had to come to a court and lose friendship over a car.
We are no longer friends at all, none of us.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Brennan Brown versus Perkins. Step forward.
Cook Michelle Brannon and her daughter, 19-year-old receptionist Heather Brown, are suing Heather's ex-boyfriend, 30-year-old automotive technician Dan Perkins, for the cost of a car.
This is your ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
Who you met in a chat room or something on the
Something like
internet,
that,
and is also your ex-mechanic.
Yes.
Your daughter, your ex-boyfriend / ex-mechanic. According to your complaint, Mrs. Brown, you had a car. It's a 1988 Dodge Daytona.
Yes, ma'am.
That needed some repair work. The defendant said, I can do that work. Took the car, gave you an estimate, you paid him some money. You want your car back? They broke up. He says the car got hit by a drunk driver somehow, and he doesn't have it anymore.
That's basically it.
You don't have the car anymore.
I do have the car,
Oh, you
Your
do?
Honor.
Oh,
Yes,
you
I
do?
do, and it is ready. It's been ready.
Really? Oh, great.
Yes.
Oh, terrific. That's even better. I thought it got hit by some driver.
It has been hit by a drunk driver, Your Honor.
That's what I thought. I didn't think that I was
I
making
have
that
the
up.
police report.
Okay. On what date did you give him the car?
I believe it was May 2nd, Your Honor.
And at that time, the two of you were still dating?
Yes.
Good. Did you get an estimate on what it would cost to fix it?
Eventually, he gave me an estimate of approximately $600 for the repairs at that time.
Okay. And when was that?
That was about 2 weeks after he had taken the car.
So far, Mr. Perkins, is that about right?
So far.
How long did he say it would take to fix the car?
He said he would have it ready no longer than 2 weeks from taking the car on the original
Your
date.
Honor, that's not the case at all. In fact, her mother had told me.
I didn't ask you anything yet, but I will.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Prior to this entire set of events, her husband had driven the car literally on top of a fire hydrant. So it had an amazing amount of extensive damage underneath prior.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Cook Michelle Brannon and her daughter, 19-year-old receptionist Heather Brown, are suing Heather's ex-boyfriend, 30-year-old automotive technician Dan Perkins, for the cost of a car.
Okay, so what happened?
Time went on. I continued to give him payments on repairs that I had no proof that were done at that time.
Did you see your car again?
No, I did not see the car
How
after he
much
took
more
it.
money did you give him?
I gave him a total of $861 over the course of a month.
Now, when you gave him the first $600, when did he call you and tell you he would need more money?
About the third week in May, he said, well, the car needs a new transmission. He said that would cost $450.
So you'd still owe him another $200 for the transmission, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, after the relationship became more complicated, her becoming pregnant and him learning about this, he was harder to reach by phone. I would call on one occasion. He took the phone off the hook and wouldn't agree to a date or an amount that I still owed on the car and a date that he could have it finished.
Okay, but you had agreed to pay him the additional $450.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that what you want, sir? $450 for the transmission and then she gets her car?
She has paid $250 of that, Your Honor, but there still remains the issue of the labor to install the transmission, which is an additional $210.80.
Mr. Perkins, what do you do for a living?
I'm an auto technician.
Okay. And I assume that you took this job, is that right? Because you were in a relationship with the plaintiff's daughter, is that right?
No.
No. Did you tell her that the cost of the transmission was going to be $450?
I did, Your Honor.
Good. Then that's what you're going to get, sir. $450. Now, I don't understand why you're here. I mean, you're here over an additional $200 for labor? Is that what you're here for?
Well, yes, Your Honor.
Well, forget it, sir. She gave you the $600 in good faith. That's what you told her it was originally going to be, in all probability. Then you told her, well, this needs this, and this needs this, and an extra $250 or $260. She paid you for it.
Yes.
And then, well, now I took out this piece, and it needs this, and now it needs a new transmission. Well, she's a lay person. And there's a certain distrust that lay people have, I think, in all probability. More women than men, of mechanics, because most women have absolutely no idea of what goes on under the hood of a car. They know that they put their key in the ignition, they turn it on. If it starts, it starts. If it doesn't, it's broken, period. So if you had to put in a new transmission and she was prepared to pay you for the new transmission, you should have taken it, sir, and said, relationship's over. It didn't cost me anything. Didn't cost anything for these parts. She paid for all the parts. I want to leave this on a good note. Why didn't you say that?
Your Honor,
I know my name.
She paid for part of the cost of the transmission, which and in the original repair bill, the $600, I allowed her to make payments on. It's not something I normally do. I was gracious enough to do that. And then the transmission, when I took the car, she knew reverse was out of it. The reverse gear itself, the shaft, was broken.
Let me explain something to you. You think she understood all that?
Well,
Do you think she understood all that?
Probably not.
Right. Now, what's wrong with the car?
Now?
Yeah.
Nothing. The new transmission's been installed.
Now, but you said it was hit by some
have the
drunk driver
accident
someplace.
report as well.
Yeah, there was a drunk driver that hit my roommate's car and pushed it into her car.
In front of his home.
And?
I had the car in storage because, legally speaking, if she were to come and had an extra set of keys, she could take it from the front of my shop.
Right. Then you sue her.
Right.
Listen to me. What you're doing is you're putting a mechanic's lien on the car.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Did you file a mechanic's lien?
No.
You didn't do anything. You did a de facto mechanic's lien on the car. You can't have your car until you give me the money.
Right.
Is that right? You put it in storage, but at some point you took it out of storage.
To take it back to the shop, yes.
Why?
Because to go back to the shop, then I would have it there for her to come down and pay the bill.
How long did you have it in storage?
Oh, about a week and a half.
Where?
The storage is about 2 miles from my home. It's just a little independent storage site, fenced in.
Now, then you took it back and you put it in front of your house.
Well, yes, I had got it the evening before I had gone.
Well, yes, you put it in front of your house, and somebody pushed one car in front of your house into her car. Is there any damage, body damage to her car?
Yes.
You get nothing. You get Zippo. Because if you chose to do that, then you had an obligation, Mr. Perkins, to safeguard her car until you got it back to her, to a situation where she had possession of her car. If you chose not to do that and park it in front of your house and somebody hit your roommate's car, which then went into her car, you're responsible for her damage. Can I see photographs of the car, please, and the damage to the car?
We attempted to get those photos, and the police department sent the wrong photos, Your Honor.
Well, you don't know what's well, you don't know the extent of the damage.
There is an estimate on the police report.
Let
me see it.
Here.
Here's the estimate, and here's the police report if you want that.
Your Honor, may I interject something?
Yeah.
What hasn't been said here is that prior to this entire set of events, her husband had driven the car literally on top of a fire hydrant. So it had an amazing amount of extensive damage underneath prior to this.
Let me ask you this question, sir. You know about the damage that was caused to the car when your roommate's car hit it?
Yes, yes, I do.
Where was it damaged?
It was damaged in the rear. The bumper was bent and the two taillights were broke out.
Is that something that you can fix?
Certainly, Your Honor, it is.
And you can fix it in how long?
On that particular car, it'd take about 2.5 weeks with what I'm booked up with right now.
No, I don't care what you booked up with. Whatever you booked up with, you're going to put on a shelf. How long will it take to pull out the bumper and to fix the lights? An hour, 2 hours, 4 hours? How long will it take?
Oh, it actually take days, Your Honor. It's hard to get a hold of the lights for the car.
Okay. Within 5 days, he's going to fix the car. Do you understand?
Okay.
When he returns the car to you, and he must return it to you in 5 days, he will get a check for $250. Is that what
Yes,
the balance that's owing? $250 for the transmission. That's
Yes.
what's left on the transmission. If he doesn't do that, we will give you a copy of this judgment, and you are permitted to enter his property, take your car back. He will get nothing. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. If he does not do it, you are free to refile the claim against him for the body damage on the car that was caused when it was in his possession. Clear?
Yes.
Do you understand that, Bert?
I understand it.
Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
देखो नहीं है जेड़ा मेल में एक बंदा है तासे भी गौर ना देखसी के कौन आना तेरी सिंगा वेने नासेरा है असाइनमेंट ना लगी है तुले करा के तू चीज बड़ी है नहीं तुझको कोई होश होश नहीं तुझको कोई होश होश आज महीना बैठा असाइनमेंट वाले वेला मेरे को एनएफटी वाला कोई करना है कोई दोष दोष मरोश है तू हर वक्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त हाय मामा ब्लैक साहब काशिर दी शादी को रंग लगे दे लाज में भी तो सारे भाईजान खान मामा ओ माते असाइनमेंट वाले पैसे खुले करा दे आज फैज रसूल वाला बेटा वेलकम आजू खान मोहम्मद लाख बेटो हाजी खान मोहम्मद को पैसे खुले दो तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त जगह बनी जगह काशिर खत्म को याद लाख में इसको गरम कर देते मोहम्मद आसिफ थोड़ा पीछे भी हो बिल्कुल न वजे बने आज ही वाला सौदा आपको अंतरिक्ष में आया है कि तो अपना यार मोहम्मद जुम्मा दे करे और शादी का संबंध दे करे जिगरी यार आदि श्रृंगार आज पैदल सुना बड़ा बेटा तकरीबन बिजली की तार को थोड़ा सेक लगा करें पकड़ने पे थोड़ा उन्हें गौर देता बने थोड़ा सेक आ थोड़ा पिछा दिया थोड़ा स्टेज पर सुना का तो आगे कोई वीडियो बनाने पे इन्हें रात इन्हें को थोड़ा बैठा करो ससुरा में शौकी है जिंदगी सुकून क्या झुमरा दे शौकी है जिंदगी सुकून क्या झुमरा दे शौकी वोट देने कोई फरमाइश है और उन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट है बाकी दोस्त अच्छा यार मैं सारे अपने बराबर को सारे को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा मोहम्मद काजल ने सारे को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा मेला जाओ यार सब ना बहुत ही बड़ा यार आओ आओ पीछे आओ आओ जो जुमारी लेकर लो सेब है जुमारी लेकर लो ऐसे बचा के होने वाला सारे काम का वाह भी वाह